an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. Thank you very much.
As Collins just rehugged for 18 months. Honor them, year and half.
Alright, y'all. The time has come for me to run the first 3-minute ad break of the stream to give us an hour of playtime together, so I'm going to go ahead and push that button. And then we'll commence to cooking, and I'll give you some proper hellos. See you soon. I know I'm gonna have to putz with this camera a little bit, but I haven't had much time to do just that. Hello Zombuts, hello Sultry, hello Collins. And anybody else out there needing a friendly hello this evening, I've got you covered. I have an inexhaustible supply of hellos to you, to use and yours, to carry forth. My goal is to just make you feel good from your toes to your tits, and also kind of be visible here. Just bring some visibility to me. We bring visibility to so many subjects here, but initially, I want to bring visibility to me. Selfishly, how's that? That still needs to come over about like that, maybe? Not too much? Not too much? Tell me. Then maybe down a little bit. Maybe I want to alternate the cameras that I use for this. I might change this little crane neck thing that I use for the face cam and just alternate that with my little tripod camera. That might be a good adjustment. I don't know. To be determined. Let's see, I'll start this come up a little bit. Okay, we're getting there. I like it. I like it. Getting closer to there. I'll know when we're there. So move that further over than I estimated. Okay. Funny thing with like any front-facing camera to me, I don't know if it's just how I'm seeing it, the camera always seems to need to be like at a sharp angle further over than versus straight ahead than what I would normally think. But there it is. Hi. Hello. Hi, hello, howdy, hey, not sultry. I know if you're looking around, none of these ingredients yet look like anything that would go into a lasagna. We're still making your lasagna tonight, but I hadn't made some pinto beans in a while, so I thought I'd show you all my patented can't fail recipe for some beans. Some beans, what the fuck? It's gonna be one of those things like they're not gonna be ready over this entire stream. I'm gonna get them ready. You'll at least know how to prepare them and, you know, the kind of thing that slow cooks overnight. And you don't have to stir them too much. You can just kind of stir them as they get going. You want to get them to a boil and then you just let them simmer for 6, 7, 8 hours. Option to, if you've got like a dark beer to pour in there, pour in a dark beer. I don't always, just because it kind of depends on the amount of bacon that I use. My butcher counter today didn't have any sliced bacon ready, so I got some pork belly. I got some pork belly cut up like bacon, so we're going to use that, and it's going to be a little fattier and a little more savory. So in this case, I don't think a beer is really going to help anything. I think a lot of bros out there, you know, you're making beans, you gotta make beer beans, bro, make some big dick beer beans. Well, you don't have to do that. You don't have to add beer to every single batch of beans that you make because you're not really getting anything out of it at that point, based on the other ingredients you want to throw in there. But don't let me talk you out of it. You want a beer in your beans, go for it. It's just kind of superficial, novelty, anecdotal. You're not gonna taste it if you're adding that with like bacon and a number of other stuff. Maybe 2 beers. If we had 2 beers, then maybe. I don't know. My dad used to make beans. I used to pick rocks out. Rocks out? Really? Rocks out? I did. The only thing you'd have to pick out of these is like bay leaves, and if you don't want to eat the, you know, any of the pork that's in there. Other than that, everything would be edible. And you can eat a bay leaf, but I don't recommend it. How's my volume versus the music volume? Are we sounding good? I'd rather know now than not. But I do like a jalapeno or 2 in my beans, and I like easiest thing, can of Rotel. Can of Rotel, spicy as you want. You can get the original or extra spicy Rotel. The easiest thing to drop in there, can of Rotel, just like that. Or if you want to make your own pico, throw in some pico. So yes, I'm adding jalapeno on top of Rotel because Rotel's really not that spicy. I'm just getting it mainly for the green chilies, diced tomatoes. So typically I like to add an extra can of green chilies. And then we'll throw in a can of crushed tomatoes. So unseasoned crushed tomatoes. That's 28-ounce can. That all goes in the beans, and then couple two of them. A lot of the liquid that you're gonna add to your beans is gonna evaporate anyway, or it's gonna get absorbed. You got some thirsty beans. Get some real thirsty beans in there. Pinto's pretty thirsty, so a few of these. Sultry, I realized for your recipe, for your lasagna recipe, I've never bought any ingredients to make lasagna before. I've never bought lasagna pasta, fresh or otherwise, but definitely had to get some support, some assistance in finding the no bake or no boil oven ready lasagna. I think this is as close to what I could find. I couldn't find just like fresh, malleable pasta, but this is as close to what I could find for the recipe that required what was required in the recipe. But it should behave fine once we get it in the pan and get it warm enough. I think that'll be all right. Welcome back. Collins, we are going to start tonight with some beans. I'm going to prep some pintos to cook overnight, and then we're going to make a skillet-based lasagna dish provided to us by Sister Sultry. That's the combat queen. Sister Sultry shared with me so generously one of her favorites, and I was keen to try it. I was keen to the challenge. I haven't made a lasagna quite like that before. And I'm partial to my Big Blue skillet anyway. Hogan the Big Blue skillet. I'm partial to putting that to use. And this looks kind of ideal for that device. But yeah, we're gonna start by prepping some pinto beans. I'm gonna show you exactly how to make them. They're my favorite kind of one-pot dish that I throw together. It's a slow cooker recipe. So if you've got a crock pot or some equivalent of, this is exactly for that. So you just get a pound. You can do 2 pounds, just double the recipe. But a pound of pintos, you want to keep those soaking, or just get them washed. I mean, I'm one of those, it doesn't really matter if you soak your beans for hours or not, they're just absorbing that moisture versus broth or stock or whatever you want to cook them in anyway. So for me, just pre-soaking beans is just to rinse them off. So I'm going to put these in a strainer before we add anything else. And rinse those off, and we'll put them back in there with some vegetable stock. We're gonna do at least 2 of these, maybe 3. I've got 3. But this will be what we prep and then get that going just to cook overnight. While that started, because Sultry gave us a recipe, as the combat queen gave us a recipe for lasagna, and I'm making beans, we also wanted to make some cornbread, so I'm gonna save one of my jalapenos over here, not here. We're gonna make some jalapeno cornbread and officially have some beans and cornbread. Beans and cornbread. That's what's going on. Anybody ever watch TNT as a youngster? You remember Dinner and a Movie? They used to promote their dinner and a movie. Who was it? It was Dave Holmes. Dave Holmes of second place runner-up, lost to Jesse for the MTV I Want to Be a Video Jockey contest. Dave Holmes, runner-up. He was hosting a cooking and like they would just show you how to make stuff in the breaks, but they would host a TV dinner and a movie. So it'd be like, what's a good example? Last thing I remember, like the Tales from the Crypt movie, and then they're showing you how to make, I don't know, loaded baked potatoes or something. Music is a smidge and just a smidge louder. Wait, music is a smidge and just a smidge louder than me. Oh, but just a smidge. Only a smidge. Well, I mean, I can turn me up. And I can turn that down. Only a smidge, though. Which, of course, is a qualifiable, quantifiable unit of measurement that we all understand. It's neighbor to a skosh. Neighbor to a skosh. We're doing amazing, sweetie. Thank you, Heather. Heather, I've been meaning to reach out to you. How are things with resolution for the whoopsie doopsie with your vehicle that you have no control over? I hated to see that. I still want to find out what your favorite makeup is, and no further comment from that. I just curiously, hypothetically, if you would share with the class what your favorite makeup is, what was stolen from you, I'd just be curious to know what was lost for no specific reason whatsoever. That would have anything to do with replenishing any amount of that supply, like a skosh or a smidge, you know. So cutting jalapenos, yeah, I would recommend using gloves if you have any need to like touch your face for the rest of the evening, because that capsaicin just doesn't really wash off. But cut the ends off, put them long ways, cut them like so, into strips. You can put the whole jalapeno in there if you just plan on removing it later, if you're just cooking it into the beans for the spice, but we're gonna keep them in there for a little extra color. Also, if you want to, my dad used to use this term, if you want to tame them jalapenos, you can just take those veins out and just kind of, you can pull them out with your fingers or use the edge of your knife and pop that out. Just pop that little vein out right there. That'll pop the vein out in those seeds. That'll cool your jalapeno down by more than half. Some jalapenos, they're kind of funny. Like some jalapenos are, you know, on a Scoville scale, they're no hotter than like a bell pepper, which, believe it or not, a bell pepper has like a measurable amount of heat. It's just not like what you consider spicy. And then some jalapenos are hotter than serranos. They just, they get funky. Unfortunate as it was, it could have been much worse. Well, that does not, it could have been, I suppose, but not to invalidate the experience. It's still stressful and, you know, violation of your property and space. And you deserve I mean, this goes for anybody. If you've had experience with an invalidating space, you deserve a validating space consistently. You deserve a reparative moment. Whatever that looks like to you, whatever you would welcome that to be. Oh, all this jalapeno is going in the beans, but we are going to add some jalapeno to our cornbread when we get that ready. I think once we start the lasagna, I'll get the cornbread ready. I should probably go ahead and prep the oven. Well, I'll wait for us to start that, and then I'll turn the oven on. I don't want to get that on too early. And we'll set our jalapenos aside for the moment. The thing about beans is kind of a kitchen sink situation, so I'm going to prep everything for that and then dump it all in as we get the crock pot started. Once the beans are prepped and warming, then we'll start on the lasagna. I almost got my thumb there on the edge of that. When Oak Heals your soul with a single sentence, I may not have the right recipe card in my vernacular at all times, but I do my clever best. Let's crack open this can of Rotel. And normally I'd rinse a lot of that off, but I want to keep all that juice. So in that goes. And again, You can alternate, you can sub Rotel for pico. You don't have to use Rotel at all if you don't really want any spice in your beans. Awesome thing about watching anybody make a recipe like this is you modify it, like a yoga pose. You can modify as you go, choose your own adventure with this, choose your own spice level. Because beans are one of the easiest things to make if you just have the time to kind of monitor them for a few hours. Macaroni and beans. Heather, you are officially up for next week. We are due for a recipe or two from Chateau de Heather, which of course translates to not kitchen. But I expect a chunky mac and cheese. Let's see, I need to get a rag in my back pocket. What am I doing? Gotta stuff that in my crack and then we'll be ready to go. Yes, I am wearing orange shorty shorts with my Pearl Snap. No apron today. I don't think we're making anything that's really gonna sizzle up and splash back on me. Plus, from the temporary tattoo that we had on before had left me with a little bit of an abrasion right here that's still healing. So part of where the apron comes across is like right on that line, just some very sensitive skin. So kind of didn't want to fuck with that anymore. I'm just kind of letting that still heal a little bit. Use Alton Brown's mac recipe. I used to love watching Alton Brown. You know, like the nitty gritty explanations, scientific explanations of how everything cooks. Oh, I thought it was your recipe today. It is, yeah, it is Sultry's recipe today. I'm making a few things. So Sultry sent me a recipe for some skillet lasagna and some cornbread, which I'm kind of pulling an audible on the cornbread just because I don't want to necessarily measure everything by scratch. I'm just going to use a package for time's sake. As I get bubble-throated just thinking about it. For time's sake. Parsley, I want 2 bay leaves. I know I'm going to want 2 bay leaves, but I don't have to add those right now. Do I want to go ahead and cut this pork up? Yeah, we can roll this pork out. I've got extra cutting boards here. Let's see what this looks like. So, making beans, my favorite thing historically is I've gone to Sprouts, and then in Sprouts' little butcher case, they've got this like Applewood smoked bacon or uncured pork. And I'll usually just get like 4 strips of that, and that's enough. This is gonna be a little bit more than what I normally cook with, and it's also not necessarily bacon, it's pork belly. So I'm curious how this is gonna turn out. And probably not dissimilar, but it's quite a bit more than I would normally use. And that's okay, I think with this being thicker cut, we're gonna end up with some nice little chunky bites in there. That won't be on every spoonful, but a nice little surprise. No nips? I'm out. Not yet. Stream is still early. It is cooking after dark, after all. I have to remember to toss this cutting board and this knife after I'm done. So that's basically what we want, is to get those strips and just cut them into quarters like that. A lot of this, I mean, we're gonna have a shrinkage problem when everything cooks down here. We can go ahead and just toss that in here with the veggies, it's fine. So we'll just mix that in here. With a lot of this, I like to add cumin. I don't get really too crazy with the amount of spices in there. Black pepper. I don't add any salt just because, I mean, we're already using pork. is the way to kind of mitigate having an excessive amount of sodium in the beans. You know, this is a recipe that already kind of has an excessive amount of sodium. And I like that. I do like to add, so with the cumin, you can kind of do either one here. You can either do like a little bit of cinnamon and brown sugar, or brown sugar with the cumin. So you get like a subtle hint of sweetness there to kind of balance the heat of the jalapeno and what green chili you may have put in there. Like the Stardew Valley playlist, thank you. I realized for a couple of cooking streams there that I also wanted to upload to YouTube. I had a couple of tracks come on from whatever playlist we were using. I had a couple of tracks come on that just made it impossible for me to upload to YouTube because they're so much more aggressive about DMCA rights. And so I'm using a Game Chops playlist, and I opened up every album that he had and just randomized it. So it's gonna be jumping around. Whatever he's created, we're gonna hear it, probably. But the good news is, it won't get the stream muted, and I foreseeably will be able to then upload this VOD later to the YouTubes. Let's see, do I wanna go ahead and add the crushed tomatoes? Not just yet. But I do wanna wash my hands and toss this cutting board. So let's do that. She wore a raspberry beret, the kind you find at the secondhand store. As opposed to the birthday song, washing your hands, it's an option. Et voila. Let's see, I think what I'm gonna do next is give these a toss and a rinse and then put them back in here. So this is just the ceramic bowl that goes in the pressure, or the ceramic bowl that goes in the slow cooker. And again, some people, you know, you want, and I used to be pretty, I don't know, not necessarily disciplined or routine with this, of leaving those beans to soak overnight before I cook them the next day, until I realized overall the taste and consistency with the bean, when it was said and done, didn't really matter. In fact, I think I preferred them to cook with the stock or broth or whatever I was using, rather than just soaking up water. So I've got a couple of these 32-ounce low sodium vegetable broth. You do not have to use low sodium anything for any of this. Use full sodium, use double sodium. Get a couple, two of them in there. Two's plenty with the amount of like tomatoes and other stuff we're adding. If you want to add another one, that's one of those things where you're basically making bean soup at that point, and you totally can. If you're gonna do that, chop up some carrots and potatoes and throw those in there too. Alright, so for all of this, remember we've just got a can of Rotel, so that's just diced tomatoes, green chilies, a little bit of cilantro. If you want to sub any of that for some pico de gallo, I highly recommend it. And you don't have to use cumin at all. So adding cumin and pico and everything else kind of makes them more Mexican style. But me being from Texas, run a lot of Tex-Mex, that's just kind of what I prefer. Let me grab a couple of bay leaves, the cumin, and let's see if we have brown sugar. If we have brown sugar, I'm going to throw that down. But not much. We do, and it's one of them packages that got nice and hard. Okay, I think that those are the bay leaves I want to use. Cayenne pepper, no. No. Cumin I've got in my drawer. I don't need to grab that. Anything else from the pantry while I'm here? I think not. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. Some black pepper. And we're gonna add, not a lot, because we don't need it, but because I mean there's already fat gonna be rendered from the pork. It's gonna help everything not stick, and it's cooking in liquid anyway. That's not really gonna evaporate much, but I do like to add a little bit of olive oil out of habit, and you don't have to do this either, but I like to add just a little bit of rice vinegar. Like less than a quarter of a cup. Do I have I might have a bay leaf container already open. Is this a remix of Hotline Bling? Well, it sure as hell sounds like it. Didn't anticipate that on the playlist. Have I made a vegan mac and cheese before? I have not. Never have I ever. I've had vegan mac and cheese. We have a swell vegan place in Fort Worth called the Spiral Diner, and it's the first place where I've ever had any kind of like vegan cuisine. And yeah, they're so two good-sized bay leaves going in there. But yeah, their mac and cheese, they use like a Daiya cheese, like a cashew cheese, and nutritional yeast, and I think it's delicious. But I've never made it. Never have I ever. I am so down. In fact, Nina and I were just talking about. She's watching a documentary on Netflix with some questionably reliable, like repeatable kind of data that they're talking about, just like the benefits of a vegan diet. But the point is, it's got us like a little curious about doing like just maybe like a week of doing all vegan. Oops, all vegan. I wouldn't mind capstoning next week with another vegan treat if you've got a mac and cheese up your sleeve. Some people carry an ace up their sleeve. Heather's got mac and cheese. Black pepper, how much is this? We're gonna do like 3 tablespoons. That's closer to teaspoons, isn't it? Big difference there. What do we want to use to stir this? I like the wooden spoon. All right. As far as cumin goes, I get pretty generous with that. Let's see. It's about 2 tablespoons worth. And the brown sugar. I don't suppose I have to guess with this. I can just. I think all my measuring spoons are dirty, actually. We'll do about half a cup of brown sugar. No, that's one of those things like, how sweet do you really want it to be? We don't want that much. Let's use a larger soup spoon here and do a couple of those. That's really gonna be it. Now I'll throw in some fresh parsley just because I have a bunch of it, like a literal bunch. And we can add a little more as it cooks. I'm also gonna add in some garlic. I'm not gonna get too delicate with presentation there. Also, most of your flavor is gonna come from the stems, so of course we're gonna add those. All right, so we got black pepper, cumin, brown sugar, me needing a drink, crushed tomatoes we need to add, and that's also on you. You don't have to add the crushed tomatoes if you don't want the extra acidity in there at all, because I mean, you've already got like Rotel or Pico de Gallo, which you may or may not choose to add. And for that matter, you don't have to add any tomatoes to this recipe. You're a bitch if you don't. Kidding. All right, a little bit of garlic. And that'll be ready. That'll be ready to heat up for several hours. Trick with that is just do it on a high, let it get to boil, and then let it simmer for hours. Usually between 6 to 8 hours. I'd say the latter the better. Later the better. Garlic, I think I've got fresh. I got fresh we can use. I don't love the absence of onion, considering that Rotel didn't have any, so one thing I'm remembering to add is just a whole white onion. Which I wouldn't have remembered to do had I not walked over there and seen it, because that is a must. That is a must for me. The onion's another thing. Yeah, this one's all right. Onion's another thing you don't have to get too delicate with how you cut it up. At least for the beans. So we'll just do some slices. Just do some slices like that. Phew, I'm needing something to sip on. I bought these little like mojito hate the way I said that. Mojito. I bought these mojito like mocktails. I haven't tried one yet. I might put one in the fridge, crack one open in a little while. Oh, horchata? Yeah, I've had that for sure. There's a taqueria that we like to go to called Salsa Limon, and they serve that along with some other super tasty like fruit juices. They've got horchata. Am I the little butthead in that scenario? I accept. Because I'm your little butthead. Alright, I'm just gonna do 3 cloves of garlic. Doesn't seem like much, but it's fresh, and I'm not gonna mince it or anything, so mincing it's gonna make it a little more potent. All those little agents that make garlic garlicky, they seem to be a little more activated the finer you cut it. And we ain't gonna do that. Drink my booty clap shot. That would be, I think that's what you name it if you're in like a contest, like the summer chata off, and you've found like the winning recipe to just blow everybody's mind. That's what you get to call it. Like that's the earned rank horchata. This is the booty clap chata. Applause, fanfare, millions of dollars. Just let us know when. Let us know when that event occurs so that we can join in. This cutting board got a little wonky. Well, that's what happens when you overheat plastic cutting boards. Or me. You overheat me, I get a little wonky. Just one of those things. I think we all get there. Okay. We have garlic, onion, parsley, or cilantro. You can use cilantro if you wish. Couple 2 jalapenos in there, Rotel, can of crushed tomatoes, 2 bay leaves, pound of beans, 2 32-ounce cartons of veggie stock. I'm gonna give that a final stir. We're gonna put the lid on and set it to high. And it'll probably take a couple hours before it gets to boiling. And then from that point, we'll put it on low. And I'll check on it before I go to bed. But there's really nothing else to add. Of course, this is one of those things I'll have to send you an update on by tomorrow, how it's looking. But it's gonna pair just super tasty with that damn old cornbread. All right, so lid on. I'm gonna find a space to plug this in over yonder and get that cooking for us. There we go. Get that on high, and we'll just keep an eye on it. Oh, why do my fingers smell a little garlicky? Now I know why. Checking up on me. You can check up on me. That's fine. Hi, Nina. Now I've just ghosted the entire stream. We don't have too much yet. We just got the beans started. Bended knee for the Nina. Hail. Let's see. I guess I can go ahead and prep the oven, and then we can get our ingredients ready for Sister Sultry's lasagna. We're going to bake it at 400 degrees. It calls for 400 degrees. That's a lot of degrees. 400 degrees. Preheat. Ding with me now. Let's get to bake. I guess I can go ahead and pre-mince some, pre-mint and flour some jalapeno for the cornbread. Nah, that can wait. Nah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'll just keep it ready. Better to have it now than not. Yeah, I think Zombie Phoenix might have gifted. It was either Zombie or Colin. Somebody did like a gifted sub bomb last stream, and one of the gifted subs went to Nina. So Nina, you have my emotes. You have our precious emotes. Some designed by Emma Cartoons, some by Noratails, some by Lux Lupus. All streaming royalty in their own rights. Ooh, you know what'd be good in cornbread? Actual corn, like frozen corn. I don't know if we have any corn. I don't think we do. Corm and cornbread. I have no corn. That's all right. I just like the texture. It's a little redundant, but I like the texture of having actual corn in the cornbread. We don't need that. We don't need that shit. You know, as far as like therapeutic grounding exercises go, like mincing anything is deeply satisfying. I don't know if it's satisfying to watch, but like the act of doing it, the whole tactile sensation, the crunch, it's a multi-sensory input thing. And the entire act of cooking is inherently therapeutic, but that specific little moment I deeply enjoy. Come on. All right, we'll keep those set aside. Go ahead and hit those with a little bit of olive oil, and we'll toss them in the flour. Why? So they don't fall to the bottom of the pan whenever they bake with the cornbread. Is he saying corn or corn? I'll never tell.
Hey kid,
What?
I'm a computer.
Help, computer?
Stop all the downloading.
Never will I ever.
Help, computer.
You wouldn't download a kitchen. Welcome in, City. My dude. Howdy, Porter. You'll just have to imagine the recipe. We are cooking up dick. Can you see it? It's exuberant. Butcher's choice. Butcher's choice. Dick. Now we're about to crank our hogs and ride on over to get a recipe from Sultry. I need to pull that up on my phone. Actually, I meant to print this and I didn't. But we have a pan lasagna that we're gonna throw down here. Is this the right recipe or is this the one from the other day? This might be the recipe from the other day. We got 4 cloves of garlic. Oh yeah, there we go. Skillet lasagna. Skillet lasagna. Total of 45 minutes. Yields 4 servings. Level easy. Was this a Giada de Laurentiis recipe? It doesn't say. Maybe it was. City, hope you're doing well. Happy Friday to you, partner. Let's see. We want a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 4 cloves of garlic, sliced, 1.5 pounds of ripe tomatoes, diced, 4 tablespoons chopped fresh basil, which I have, or parsley. And just 4 tablespoons, that's it? Just 4 tablespoons of that. Well, we might use a little bit more. We'll keep some extra aside to, like, finish with. That's always nice. Kosher salt, cup of ricotta cheese. This calls for 3 cheeses, and I bought them all. We got a trifecta cheese here. We got them all. 1 large egg. 1 zucchini cut into ribbons, peeled into ribbons. 1 carrot, peeled into ribbons. I should have bought bigger carrots. I didn't do that. I bought, we've got little baby carrots. We got little tiny baby carrots. I need to, just get creative with those. Maybe I'll dice a couple of carrots worth of baby carrots. Won't present the same, but the taste will be there. Did I get basil? Well, the recipe says Italian parsley or basil, but I should, yeah, I think I've got basil over there too. It says chopped fresh basil and or parsley, plus more for garnish, but I think I've got both. I want to say I grabbed both. Here, for at least for a little bit, baby carrots, my favorite. Mine too. It's just, they're much more versatile. Like they're easier to snack on. They're easier to drop in like a soup or a salad or a skillet lasagna when someone gives you the recipe. If I don't have fresh basil, I'll just check my confidence level right now. If I don't, I have dry. We got dry basil. Just have to like triple the amount it asks for. I got oregano over here. I got fresh fucking basil over here. I got thyme over here. Oh yeah, basil. And a lot of spinach. This recipe calls for like 3 pounds of spinach. There's our squinch. We're gonna cut that into ribbons. There's our baby carrots that we're not going to be cutting into ribbons. Here's our matzo ball. It's not really matzo ball, mozzarella ball. Mozzarella cheese ball, which I could have probably left in the fridge for now. Here's some basil. That's enough basil to get us by. And oregano. I don't think it asked for oregano, but I've got it. We're covered. I left the fridge open. Get out of here. Ooh, yeah, I got a fresh iron brew I can take down. That'll put some hoots in my pie. There's some sweet potatoes down here I really need to do something with too. Tracking down ricotta. Kind of a pain in the dick hole, but we found it. Guess there's not like a market screaming for ricotta these days, but found it. So Capiello. Nearly similar to a very familiar name to me, but it's not quite there. We got the ricotta and Parmigiano Reggiano. Molto bene. T is a truly great name of the many great names in existence. Let's see where I want to start. I guess I need to find my favorite little skillet. My favorite sonbitch and skillet. Y'all know the one. Trusty old baby blue. Good for bonking and cooking. It's actually terrible for bonking. The wrist dexterity required for a bonk with that thing requires a lot of strength training, which I have, so watch out. The fridge scream. Yeah, that doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. It's just like that sonic, help me. Speaking of, there's the oven song. You may now put food in me. It's we're not there yet. I don't have the cornbread. We don't have the cornbread mixed up yet. But when we do, so help me, oven, you're gonna be well provided for. Man, I wish I would have printed this. Let's pray. Heat a 1/4 cup of olive oil in a large skillet over medium heat. Add the garlic. Cook, stirring until golden, 1 minute. Add the tomatoes, 1 tablespoon of the herbs, 1/2 teaspoon salt. Add pepper to taste. Cook until saucy. I'm already saucy. About 5 minutes, transfer to blender. Blender? No one said anything about a goddamn blender. All right, we'll get a blender out. I wonder, can I print this? Let me see. I might be able to print this. My phone's connected to the printer. Maybe I can do that. Does it have a printable option? I think it does. Boom. No printer selected. The hell I don't. Let's see. My phone is like right here. Print. That looks just fine. Okay, I'm gonna print that. That's gonna help so much. It's going to help so much. And for those of you following along at home, I'll just go ahead and copy and paste this recipe for the lot of you. Looks like this right chair. Get on that. That we can follow along and measure my paces. So like, oh, you forgot to add all of that pretty ribbon zucchini that you squished up there. And then I'll say, oh yeah, thanks, partner. What's going on in the city? Good so far. Had a dog bite situation earlier with my friend's girlfriend. With my friend's girlfriend at a local brewery, but she's doing okay. Oh no, is it one of those situations where like another dog is agitating, just wasn't quite ready for a social situation? Ugh. I hope you're all right, or whoever was bit. I'll give these a rinse. Also, let me check on the timing for stream. It may already be time to run a couple of ads here. Our woeful obligation to Twitch. We are just over the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and press that button. I'm going to run ads while I also run upstairs and grab the recipe that we just printed. It's going to make the next phase a little bit easier for us. So do that and push this button, and thank you for your patience as we ride that wave of ads. I will see you on the other side of them if you are unsubscribed. Let's see, I think I've got some ad text over here just to give anybody kind of a warning. Running ads, there we go. Yeah, it was a freak accident. It was your friend's girlfriend that was injured. Okay, she had to get stitches. Aw. No rabies vaccination or shot or anything like that. That's always scary. Good way to get the adrenaline going. Even if it's a small dog, I'm usually more concerned with the smaller dogs. They tend to be a little more difficult to de-escalate for some reason, but I say that out of experience. I was bit on my right butt cheek when I was about 9 years old by this little Shih Tzu running around the neighborhood with another pack of dogs. And I was well provided for, was the thing, but it was also one of those moments of like learning that not all dogs are friendly, even if they're wagging their little tail like, hey, you want to try to pet me? Hey, fuck you. And it ran around and, latched on. It was the tiniest dog running around with like a pack, like say one was One was like a German Shepherd and I don't know, Rottweiler or something. Like, it's a pretty big dogs that it was running around with, and there was the Shih Tzu. So I'm thinking, like, out of all the dogs I'm feeling most presumably threatened by while I'm running across, like, my parents' backyard between, like, the neighbors' houses, seeing them, I was least concerned about that little guy, but that changed very quickly. One of my best friends at the time, her grandmother was also one of those neighbors in that area. So like no sooner than I was bit, I just came like running, screaming over to her house, explained the whole story. This little dog bit me on the butt. And she took me inside immediately. No judgment whatsoever. Just drop your shorts. And I did. She hit me with some alcohol swabs and, you know, threw like a butterfly Band-Aid on there. And she didn't have to kiss it, but she did, you know, just to make it heal faster, and it happened. I was well provided for. It was a very sweet moment. Yeah, of like the spectrum of larger bodied dogs there, I can't remember exactly what they were. I remember one was a boxer, because we had a boxer and I knew what they looked like. But they were bigger, like, you know, they would dance little canines. And then there was the most unassuming little bastard of the bunch, you know. But all the same, yeah, I'm glad your friend is okay. Your friend's girlfriend is healing up all right. It turned into a pretty sweet moment with my friend's grandmother, though, just because I was able to like run over there and kind of get patched up, get tended to. All right, I'm going to hobble my keister upstairs for a moment and grab that recipe we just printed, and we've got another hour of playtime together since we've ridden that wave of ads. So be free to commence with the Sister Sultry recipe. I'll be right back. And you'll still be able to hear me because my lav mic is connected the whole time, which means no farting or belching or saying anything crass. Let's see. Egads printed. I hope this is everything. I thought it was supposed to be 2 pages. Maybe it's just one. Skillet lasagna. Boom. Let's see, I can pin that up. Maybe, just maybe. Pin that up right here. No. No. Hold. All right, I think that's going to stay in a good position for me to like see what I need to prep before we move on to the next steps. Which primarily, your Hogue is thirsty. I'm thirsty. No farting or belching or saying anything crass. Practically what I tell myself before I have to go into public. Like only amongst trusted friends. And we potentially around some unfamiliars we don't know. Give me some goddamn shit. I'm gonna. They're gonna be sweet. They're gonna be oh so sweet. I had to get myself an extra little treat earlier. From yonder Iron Brew. And paid way too much for it. I don't recommend that part at all. This will give us some zip. Give the proper arc. Don't want to build up too much head here, you know. And that's a totally natural color to be putting in my body, don't you think? Bottoms up. Yeah. It's a tasty bev. Nigh incomparable. All right, I'm gonna plunk that in recycling also to get it out of my hair. What to prep first? Quarter cup of extra virgin olive oil. So go ahead and throw that down in the pan. Well, I bottle a quarter cup. About like that right here. And 4 cloves garlic sliced. Well, I'm glad I brought the garlic over here. Stubborn rascal, come here. Okay. If they all seem to be that size, I may just use 3 of them because they're kind of big. I just now realized what Galdern Sips means. I thought it was a specific kind of drink. We can turn that into a drink. We might have to take a poll of like, you know, a survey of our peers. If you were to imagine a drink called Galdern Sips, what do you suppose is in it? I mean, it sounds like a bourbon, like an old-fashioned kind of cocktail, but you know, like in Hitchhiker's Guide, you know, the drink known throughout the universe is, well, I mean, they have the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster, sure, but the drink known throughout the universe, you can go anywhere and order a gin and tonic, and it will pretty well consistently be the same. I'd like to have that for Galdern Sip. I'd like it to be a misnomer too, so not like a shot of tequila. Galdern Sip, that's just a shot of tequila. That's a shot of Herradura, baby. It could be, but I'd like to get, you know, I like my sips to be, you know, several swallers, if it can be. We're drinking straight from the Galdern. Would it be a warm beer? I don't know. If I'm exercising any creative control over this cocktail, I don't know if I'd want it to be a warm beer. But I guess that's why we're serving our peers for this. It could be one of those things like a Galdern Sip. It changes from region to region. So like a California sultry special of the Galdern Sip could be a warm beer. Or in other areas, it might be something like a Colorado Bulldog. If anybody's familiar with one of those. Which is basically a White Russian with like a splash of Coca-Cola. They're quite good. At Galdern, it requires a fancy cup. The fanciest cup. Yeah, like a, what are those really ornate German beer goggles called? Goggles? Goggles, wow. Those really ornate German beer steins, there we go. Tiny chalice of mead. I think we're on the right track here. Something like a stein. Because yeah, if you're drinking like an old fashioned or highball or What's the other one? A Molotov cocktease. Now what's the one that's served in like the copper cup? It's usually served like a little bit of mint. One of those. Like it's going to be a drink served in a signature glass. Moscow Mule. Thank you. Can we drink those with the amount of Red Scare going on? I don't know. There's been a misinformation campaign lately for me to drink more Moscow Mules. All right, sliced garlic. We got slices. All right, I'll follow the recipe. I'll add one more. I was kind of worried about the size of those, but it's not that much after all. For my recipe, can I request you create a cocktail called a Galdern Sip? Yeah, if we can figure out what's in that, I may have the required ingredients for it. Like we have, from planned events that we never hosted or attended, we have like bottles of unopened. I've got bottles of unopened rum, Kettle One vodka. I've got some bourbon in there. So depending on what it calls for, I may have it already. Just unopened, ready to go. So that, yes, Heather, I welcome that. I embrace that. I think that sounds really fun. This could turn into a collaborative experience. You know, over time, people say, you know what, Hogue, I want you to try my version of a Galdern Sip. I'll say, this is just Sunny Delight. Thank you. To be honest, I think I could go a lifetime and never have Sunny Delight again. I don't know how I tolerated that stuff as a kid. Or ever believed that it was healthy. Drink some Sunny Delight, it's healthy. It goes to show I was at the mercy of the nutritional prowess of my caregivers at the time. We all were. Like, yeah, eat your nitrate-laden bullshit Lunchables and your Vienna sausages and whatever else. Chug that Nesquik, kid. I ate a lot of lean cuisines as a kid. A lot of microwave chefing going on. If it wasn't, I told y'all before, it was like, if it wasn't Dairy Queen, which was the closest fast food when I was a kid, if it wasn't that, it was like lean, kid cuisines, excuse me. The youngster portioned equivalent of a lean cuisine, which if anybody isn't familiar, it's, you know, just like a little TV dinner you microwave, but a kid's portion with kids fare. So it might have a shitty little brownie inserted in there that's never heated up quite right. But it had sprinkles on it and it looked cute for 5 seconds. The D stands for dick. Four cloves, garlic slice, 1.5 pounds to ripe tomatoes. I do have the tomatoes, but I didn't buy fresh. I bought canned, baby. So says I. Which I think I've got like 5 cans of these is what should be the correct amount. Oh, I do have. Well, no, I was gonna say I got excited for a second there. I thought I had corn. I have those little baby corns that you'd probably see with like a chicken stir fry kind of dish. So not. I don't know. I can probably dice them up and make them work into cornbread, maybe. This calls for again 1.5 pounds ripe tomatoes, and so each one of these cans is about 15 ounces, which puts us about 1.5 ounces shy of 4 of these equaling what we need. So I'm going to use 5 of them. That's 5 14.5 ounce cans of diced tomatoes. Chug that, you got it. You're telling me that one of these is this is my City Glory's this is his Galdern sip. Just get a can of diced tomatoes and just shoot it quick, brother. You want to take one of these and get a full-throated approach? Yeah. Oh, maybe I should have worn an apron. Mix the tomato with the fermented potato. Now we're talking. Now we're getting zesty. You know how I like it? I like it nice and zesty. That's what vodka is, I'm pretty sure. When I was studying drink psychology in college in 2008, pretty sure that's what our professor of drinks taught us. But I was partying pretty hard back then, man. I don't know. Could have been anything. Might as well have been engine grease and shot of Dr. Pepper, you know, it could have been anything. All right, I got some tomatoes over here. That's gonna be messy as hell when I drag that over here. All right, the garlic's sliced, tomatoes are ready. 4 tablespoons of parsley. I'm gonna do that and the basil. So 4 tablespoons parsley and basil. And we'll just put that in a cute little pink cup, like this. 4 tablespoons, huh? Well, let's take a bunch of it and you want to pinch it together. It's pinch, not pinch. And I'm eyeballing that, but do that and get basil. I don't hear our music anymore, do y'all? I don't hear any. I don't hear any tones whatsoever. We lose our sounds. No, it's still going. It's just I don't know. The shadow was playing, but nothing was happening. You just have to imagine the tunes. Alright, we got some basil. I'll show you how I like to do basil. You make these leaves stack on top of each other. There's an easy trick for chopping up some basil. This already smells awesome. I need to grow basil again. I mean, that's one herb I miss growing. A little potted garden in our last apartment that was kind of great. All right, so I'm gonna do however many leaves that is. I think that's 8 leaves. You stack them. Let's see. Try to get the tips touching. Tip to tip. You want to touch tips here. And then take it from the tip and then just start rolling towards you. Like it right here. And you've got that rolled. And easy peasy basil squeezy. Okay. Let's see what else is needed to prep here. Kosher salt and fresh ground black pepper. Got that, got that. Both here, ready to go. We've got our ricotta cheese. All of our cheeses are right here. 2 tablespoons of, okay, yeah. Parmigiano Reggiano. 6 sheets no-bake noodles. Those are here. I'm tempted to use more than the 6 just because they weren't as wide. They weren't as long or as wide as the other ones, and that's okay. All shapes are accepted, but dun, dun, dun. Once we get this started, then we'll do the cornbread. That looked like something that's straight out of South Farthing right there. One of these, it kind of looks like sort of a biscuit. It's lasagna. Oh, there it is. What? Oh, there it is. I think I missed key detail there. Oh, it was the no music. It came back. Yeah, we got it back. So the amount of 1 carrot cut into ribbons and then 1 zucchini cut into ribbons. Okay. Ribbon cut. What do I want to use for that though? What tool did I have for this job? I mean, I can just slice it and that's, I can ribbon it, sure, but I think I've got a peeler. I've got a peeler that'll make things a little easier on us. I thought I had a wider peeler, but I don't. I don't know if that's gonna be the thickness we want, but I guess when it's all in there together. That's just, I think that's way too thin for what we're needing here. What else do I have? If I had one of those classic, like, not conical, but rectangular, like graters, then I think those are probably good for slicing like that. Let me see what else I have, what other tool I may have. I'll just knife it. We're cutting it into ribbons. A ribbon, a perfect ribbon. That looks like a pickle. Pickled cucumber, anyway. It's not that thin. I'm not that skilled with a knife. Burb, have a good burb. What's the word? Burb. Let's see, how thin can I get that? I feel pretty good about that. Sultry, how thin did you slice these before? Oh, City, you're dog sitting. Gozer be with you. I think I need to ship you one of these iron brews. If I'm careful enough, I think I can get those ribboned-ish. Not too thin, though. I'll make this a little easier on myself and level out the cutting space I'm using here. Yeah, all right. Feeling a little bit better about that. I mean, it's squash. It's not going to take much to heat up and kind of change how, even if I cut it a little too thick, it's not going to be bothersome. If once it gets heated up, it's going to be fine and it'll soften. I don't know, I'm useless. Sultry, that is an unfair overgeneralization, and I won't have it. I have no evidence to support you are useless. Okay. We got one of those a little thicker than we might want here, and I thought about using both of these just because they're relatively small, but I think that one's going to be enough for this. I don't know, we can throw in some extra veggies in there, why not? I see no problem with that. You're doing amazing, sweetie. That's right. I think it was Danny that was saying we needed that button throughout the day, like when we're not streaming. Just periodically throughout the day, just need to like a randomized. Bing, bing, bing. You're doing amazing, sweetie. I am. Maybe that's up to us. Maybe that's up to us just to like DM each other at random with those exact words. Like, hey, you showing up for yourself today with enough kindness and softness? Yeah, you better be. Suppose that would have been a good opportunity for me to like give a quick query to my search engine of choice and see what ribboning looks like and try to get my finger there. But I didn't succeed, damn it. I was really looking forward to a fresh laceration there. If it's got the right kind of wiggle, then it's ribboned-ish, I would think. The carrots, now, let me see if I have something to put those in. A moment. So we want a carrot's worth. We'll set all of our ribboned squinch aside here. So imagine we're just gonna layer that in to the pasta as we get it ready. It's gonna bring a couple of spare herbs with it, and that's not a problem for me. We're properly prepped. Okay. Welcome back, City. Are those pre-pickled pickles? We could pickle them. We can pickle anything. We can pickle a leather boot if we need to. That was what kind of squash do they have at Aldi? It's whatever zucchini squash they had there. It was like crenelli or something. It's a word that just translates to little. It's a little squash. So it's not a cucumba, but it does look very cucumba-like. So welcome in, Panic, whose birthday is next week, if anybody is counting down the days to celebrate Panic. Unless I'm misremembering, that would be a glaring misremembrance. To call that out, it's coming on, booty clap! One can only hope. That's just how we get down on our birthdays. For the whole month, baby. It's next Friday. I figured to call attention to that here. I think there's enough people who know and admire you at this point that would want to know when it's time to share a little love on you. Not dissimilar from any other day, but... just so we have a little cucumba for the weekend, I think if your version of the Galdern Sip cocktail contains cucumba, I wouldn't be mad at it. There was well, I mean, I have some. I think it's probably gone bad. But there was a gin I was buying for a while there, Hendrick's. Familiar with Hendrick's gin, and it's infused with cucumber. And so, like, on its own, it's fine. But if you're making a gin and tonic with that, it's kind of, to me, unbeatable. Especially if you have a fresh slice of cucumber to go with that cocktail when it's thrown together. I wonder, estimating like how many baby carrots is one average-sized, quote-unquote, regular carrot? I'm gonna do, let's see, I'm gonna do like 8 more and then leave that be. I love the fresh crunch of like a carrot if I'm hitting it raw, but if I'm cooking with them, I kind of tend to like them to be a little overcooked. I don't like really any crunch, like if I'm making a proper bolognese. I don't like any crunch from the carrots in there. I like them soft as can be. Like 15? Okay. Well, at this point, I may have gone over by a little more than half, but I don't mind that either. Because we're pro-veggies over here. These woke libs eat a lot of vegetables over here. I'll leave the cocktail recipe up to you for next week, and I'll do the dinner. Hey, I'm down. We can combine it. I mean, I'm sure the city's probably getting close to earning enough points. He'll be able to redeem, a cooking recipe of his own at some point. But I'm down if y'all want to combo this. Deal. Deal. 6 shooters at the hips. Deal. What does it want me to do with all this spinach? We've got to... Hang on a second. Hang on a second. There's a mosquito. Ha! Okay, now I need to wash my hands. First mosquito of the season. Raspberry beret, the kind you wear when you murder mosquitoes. Shit, I should have just put that in the soup here. We call that Texan allspice. You drop a mosquito in your recipe, little Texas allspice. That's dumb as hell. 3.5 cups of baby spinach. Do I want to do anything with that to prepare it, or just have it ready? Or does that go in the blender? Let's read ahead. Let's read ahead now that we've got most of this prepped.
It's enough to get me to the boiling point.
Heat the olive oil, add the garlic, cook, stirring until golden, 1 minute. Add the tomatoes, 1 tablespoon of herbs, half teaspoon of salt and pepper to taste. Cook until saucy, about 5 minutes. Transfer to a blender and carefully blend until smooth. See cook's note. Return 1 cup of the sauce to the skillet and reduce the heat to low. Reserve the remaining sauce. Meanwhile, step 2. Meanwhile, combine the ricotta, egg, and 2 tablespoons of Parmesan, the remaining 3 tablespoons herbs, half teaspoon salt, pepper to taste in medium bowl. Place 2 lasagna noodles over the sauce in the skillet. Layer half of the carrots and zucchini on the top. Is it zucchini? I don't know. Drizzle with olive oil and season with salt and pepper. Cover with half of the spinach, half of the ricotta mixture, a few pieces of the mozzarella, and 2 to 3 tablespoons of the reserved tomato sauce. Repeat the layers, ending with noodles. Top with the remaining sauce and mozzarella. Cover and simmer until the lasagna is cooked and the mozzarella melts. 20 to 25 minutes. Okay. I guess I better get my blender out. I haven't fired that up in a while. Let's see, it's stuck. Hell of a thing. Okay. Yeah. We'll blend it over here. Those beans are looking warmer. They're not quite boiling yet, but they are warming up. All right, I've got a blender here. Olive oil is in the skillet. So let's do the garlic and the tomatoes. I'm going to turn my heat on and get us over here a little bit. It's trying to fall out. Let me turn that back around, and we'll just move the camera like that. There we go. That's better. Gotta go get some Din Din. Well, gargle it down your gullet. Thank you for popping in, City, and I look forward to next Friday when we get a sense of, well, I guess, let me know by Thursday what you reckon the Galdern Sips recipe ought to look like, and I can double check my inventory. I can double check my bar cart and make sure I'm well supplied for it. But, we've probably got another hour and a half or so to go here if you stop back by. Otherwise, have a good evening and a good din din. Happy supping. Just a minute on that. So we're doing the garlic for a minute, then the herbs, salt. Okay. Garlic, then the tomato, then the herbs and everything else. All right. So we're blending this to get like a crushed tomato consistency, I suppose. A little sarsaparilla. I love sarsaparilla. It's like root beer, but it's more fun to say. Hit me up with a Sioux City sarsaparilla anytime. It's what, was it Sam Neill? Not Sam Neill, is it Sam? It's not Sam Neill, it's not Sam Rockwell. Sam, was it in The Big Lebowski? Guy with the iconic white mustache. Plays kind of the omniscient, like narrator in The Big Lebowski. He orders a sarsaparilla. It's Sam Elliott, the other Sam, and a good group of Sams. Say there, Porter, you got any of that Sioux City sarsaparilla? I don't know if he orders that specific brand. I think he does. In my headcanon, that's what he orders. In my headcanon, that's what I'm sharing with him when we hang out on Saturdays. Check my inventory, let me know what I have. I'll send you I'll slide in those DMs. I'll show you what I got. Show you what I'm working with. All right, I think we're ready for the garlic. Let's see. Yeah, we got a sizzle immediately. Plenty of oil in there. Arguably too much heat. I'm using a double burner, so it's one of those things like medium-low is already medium-high if I were to use a smaller burner. But I like it for this skillet. I want there we go. I like this spatula best. We don't want to overdo that. I think the rule for a lot of this is once you can start to smell it, you're pretty well ready to add everything else. And the aroma's already hitting me. It's very nice. Hello? Who's helloing? To me? I mean, I think I'm a good follow. But so are you, zombie. And so is My City Glory, even though he doesn't stream, at least not yet. If he were to do like music production streams, I think that would be kind of badass. But he does have a couple of tracks on the new Vila album, which I've been listening to a lot this week. Up to 5 minutes now. Zombie, how are you in Keebs this evening? How are you and our darling baby Kibo and Trixie? We are 1 week closer to our Austin trip, Bubba. It's funny. When I ended things with my therapist earlier in the week, she was asking, if you ever terminate with a therapist, they kind of have to do a passive screening for, honestly, they're doing a passive screening for suicidal ideation, making sure you have things to look forward to, protective factors in place, that you're not at risk of self-harm or anything like that. And she was real slick about it. She was like, so do you have anything coming up that you're looking forward to? And I was like, oh yeah, and I listed a ton of stuff. I was like, I've got these cooking streams that I've really been enjoying. I've got recipes, from the community coming in. It's been a lot to look forward to. It's very, it has intrinsic and extrinsic benefits. And I'm really digging it. And then I mentioned, the convention. I was like, and I'm going to a convention. We're gonna road trip half of it. Going to a convention mid-July. I mentioned all of that. She's like, oh, cool. Yeah, you've got a lot going on. Sounds like life's pretty good right now. And I was like, you know what? Life is pretty good right now. When I'm not busy stirring the pot and pissing off straight white men online, life is pretty good. And even then, life is good. Just downed a bowl of late night cereal because I felt like it. What's your brand of the evening? Do you raisin that brand? I get down on Heritage Flakes periodically. And I'll do a spoonful of peanut butter, spoonful of crunchy peanut butter with the cereal, oat milk. I get there, every few nights or so when it's a bowl of cereal. Hunger pain hits me, I'm a strike. Cinnamon Cheerios, that's what hit the spot, okay. Work my ass off and things get difficult. Has the projects, you had some intense projects this week that you had to prioritize, I know. I hope you were able to iron out most of that. I know you've got the muscle for it, but doesn't mean it comes at, low cost by any means. Some time reclamation do for you to have some fun there. This only needs about 5 minutes. I'm gonna turn the heat back up though. There's no way that's enough heat. And then 1 tablespoon of the herbs. Okay, so I'm gonna mix these herbs and we're just gonna use of the herbs that we have. We're just mixing in some of these. Just a tablespoon, huh? So this is the parsley and the basil. I'm trying to mix that up as carefully as I can. So we're gonna save the rest for, I'm guessing for adding later, and even a smaller amount to use as like a garnish on the top when it's said and done. This is the thing in cooking with herbs. Like you add them now, they're gonna wilt down, you won't even really see them. But, you always keep some fresh for later if you really want a vibrant aroma hitting you. Half teaspoon salt and pepper. Okay, half teaspoon salt and pepper. Okay. Stir that, and I'm gonna, since it's already been in there for a minute, I'm gonna set a timer for 3 minutes. That already smells really good. Like the fresh garlic and the aroma of those fresh herbs is lovely. I get a few generous stirs there and then just leave it alone. And we'll stir. I'll give it another minute and a half before I stir it again. Yeah, good so far. The recipe from Sultry, if anyone's unaware, I'm doing that's where you can see it, a skillet lasagna. As they say in Sicily, lasagna. Yeah, everything's, with the exception of what I'm going to throw in the blender here in a minute, we're going to do it all in this. We're going to do it all in Baby Boy's favorite skillet. And then we've got some, I've never used this before. I'm kind of excited to see how it behaves, but we've got this no-boil Barilla lasagna sheet. Several of those to throw down. Which just, for right now, it looks like a big cracker. One big flat noodle. One big flat noodle. Which I don't mind, honestly. I've had some ramen served up to me before where the place was making noodles from scratch. It was at, we were in New York City actually. We went to the Chelsea Market and they have a little food hall inside. So like Chelsea outside of, what borough is that? Outside of Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Went to the Chelsea Market. And yeah, we found one of the food hall vendors there serving up like ramen from scratch, and their style wasn't traditional like ramen noodles. They were just doing like one giant noodle that they would make from scratch and like show you as they're preparing it, stretching it out and getting all the dough ready, and then they just plunk it right in this hot broth before they serve it to you, and it kind of all cooks together. And it's kind of like that. It's like, you know, 7 of those combined as you're going through. Never had anything else quite like it, but I liked it. Very filling too. And carbs, very needed carbs for a very walk heavy outlet city. A lot of walking. Yeah, it's our. We bought the Barilla brand Eucharist. We bought the Barilla brand Eucharist wafer. If you ever participate in communion at, if you're ever blessed enough to participate in communion at, there's our timer. Blessed enough to participate in communion at the, what is it, the Sistine Chapel, or the Vatican, excuse me. This is your Eucharist, what you get at the Vatican. Through him, with him, in him. Open wide, my child. And remember, together we say, that's my purse, I don't know you. Amen, there we go. Go with God, be safe from evil. Shit, I broke that one. Did I say we were gonna stir that every couple of minutes? Because that was a fucking lie. I do need to turn the heat down though.
That's my purse! I don't know
There's
you!
our prayer. There's our sacred prayer. That's right. I'm gonna turn this back to low. I'm actually gonna take this off a lot of that heat, because I don't want to overdo anything for the moment. Okay, so it was about 5 minutes until saucy. I love that. I love that description. Cook until saucy. I don't leave the house until I feel saucy. Then I know I'm ready to socialize even a little bit. Transfer all of this to a blender? Okay. Transfer all of this to a blender and blend until smooth. You got it. You got it, Eddie. What am I using to stove cook that? It's my biggest skillet. My trusty old Blue Boy. That one. I think this has been my most featured cooking utensil throughout all of our cooking streams, but my old standard. Let's see. Do I have enough room in my blender for this thing? Good Lord. I guess we'll transfer, I'll use use a soup ladle to transfer this. I think, yeah, this'll fit. It'll just be a little packed. All right, so Blenda. Wanna put my skillet lasagna in a blender, watch it spin around to a beautiful sauce. Ron David, I thought it sounded better in my head. I've got better. You know it, and I know it. I've got better than that. I don't suppose I have to hold this, I can just set it down. And then free up a hand to be a little more dexterous with this. There we go. Now we're thinking with a well-caffeinated brain. Why we needed the iron brew to get us through. Started making sauce and now we're here. So all of this is just gonna go over there and we're gonna blend until smooth. Blend until smooth. All right. There she is. Can you even see where I'm going? Let's see. You see me like right here? You can kind of get a sense of where I am. I've not gone far. You can still hear me just fine. I know you can. All right, let's get this plugged in. We will blend until smooth. I guess I'm just gonna pulse that a few times. We're gonna pulse that a few times. Maybe booty clap a little bit on the way. Return 1 cup of sauce, just 1 cup of sauce to the skillet and reduce the heat to low, reserve the remaining sauce. Okay. So I've got a measuring cup over here ready to go. I don't suppose I need this big one. Keep this ready. All right, so blend, and then we're gonna, take that off the heat. Blend, pour a cup out, and we'll take it from there for the next step. All right, let's blend. And this has a short cord to it. I mean, it's never had any complaints. It's just not as long as the one from my crock pot. All right. Blending noises in 3, 2, 1. Just cranking my hog. Let's take a look at her. Let's take a look at her. It's looking saucy. I don't say saucy. It says smooth though. Blend until smooth. What if I don't want it that smooth? What if I like a little texture, you know? Let's take another peek at it. I'll give it one more good throttle. like it, I like it, I like it. But does he like it? It still smells outstanding. Like, kind of just want to have some right now, and I know I can't. But yes, I did impulsively decide to wash a couple of things here on my way back over. It primarily started with the lid of the blender container. Just because if I don't wash it now, everything's going to be a little stickier later, so it just kind of makes sense for me to take care of that right now. Alright. Let's pour a cup of the sauce out. I'll show y'all what we're working with here. Some of that basil didn't get down in there enough. That's alright. So there's more of like a, it's between like a crushed texture and puree, so I don't know. I don't know if that meets criteria for smooth per se, but it's only wanting a cup, so we will fill a cup's worth here. And it's going to go back in. All right, so we're setting this aside. And next, return 1 cup of sauce to the skillet and reduce heat to low. All right, we've already got the burner to low, so that's happening now. And I want to get all that out. Yeah, that almost has the consistency of like a bisque or something. I mean, it's smooth. It probably could be smoother. Could have throttled that hog for another minute or so. I think we'll be all right. It's all about the flavor. So here's the litmus test. I'll serve it to Nina tomorrow, and then if she doesn't like it, she'll just drop it on the floor, and then I'll know, oh, I won't make that again. Thank you. I'll do better. I will endeavor to do better. I'm feeling saucy as well. Good, good. That means we're primed for socializing. We can meet each other. We can better meet each other where we are. I like that. Combine the ricotta, egg, and tablespoons. Egg? Where was egg in this? 1 large egg. Okay. Combine the ricotta, egg, and the tablespoons of Parmesan, and the remaining 3 tablespoons of herbs. Okay, I'm getting another mixing bowl here. Okay. Well, I have plenty of those to go around. And it doesn't sound like I need a very big one. So, say goodbye to the sauce for a moment. And we'll take it back over here. Going too far? We gone too far. We've gone too far this time. Alright, as long as that little wire isn't in the way, then we're good. Bye-bye sauce. It's hanging out. It's over here, but thank you. Alright, we want the ricotta. How much ricotta? 1 cup. 1 cup of ricotta. There's half, so I'll do 2 of them. And so the rest of the herbs too. with the remaining 3 tablespoons of herbs. So let's. I'm gonna do them all. I'm gonna save a couple pinches there for the last step. These are a few of my favorite things. Is that what's going on here? It's just like a down-tempo remix. I'm okay with that. I know y'all have seen me go to the gym recently, and I've been training for this moment of opening a seal on a ricotta container. And you know what? I'm vulnerable and in touch with myself enough to know that further strength training is needed. There will be no ricotta in this recipe tonight, unfortunately. We'll just stab it. Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot what ricotta cheese is like. It's a weird texture. I don't eat it very much. I just don't cook with it very often. I haven't in a while. But it's like that's the cheese. That is the lasagna cheese. When you dig into lasagna, that is the cheese that you expect. All right, let's do. How do I want to be right now? Okay, we'll level that off. There's half of what we need. I think it said 1 cup total, so here's half. And you guessed correctly, we're going to do that again. Alright, I went a little heavy with that last plop, so this one will have a little less in it. So approximate. So we're gonna do a whole egg? We're gonna do a whole ass egg in there? All right. Eggs aplenty. These aren't, it's not a large egg by any means, but it will do. It will do. Huh? Oh. I was like, how did I get sauce on that? But got my former stirring spoon was in a risky place there. Here's our egg. I'm just gonna give that a quick drop. And I always love that trick. Like any extra little runny, just catch that with the other shell and then stack them and you're good. Was it the albumin? All right, there's our egg. Remaining the herbs are in there. Half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, half teaspoon of salt. Half teaspoon of salt. And pepper. Okay. So do I need to mix that or anything? Doesn't say. I mean, it says combine, it just doesn't say like, well, I'll use my best guess with what it wants me to do there when it says combine. Always like a fork to whisk, as opposed to most other conventional whisks. Even though I have a small one that works just fine here. It's funny, like mixing this up. I know I'm looking at ricotta, but after I'm mixing all of it together, it looks like, it almost looks like tahini of like what you get with like Greek food. Almost. All right. I wanted to name the sauce soy sauce, but it seemed like it could have different connotations, so. I think it's a slowed version of that. Yeah, oh, maybe. But yeah, sultry, I'm feeling good about that. I'm not feeling so great about the things this iron brew is doing to my throat, but, I have water over there. There we go. Place 2 lasagna noodles over the sauce in the skillet. Layer half of the carrots and zucchini on top. All right, I'm gonna turn my heat back up a little tiny bit. And I will take us back over to skillet view. I'm still worried I'm like unscrewing the camera and it's just gonna fall directly into the food. If you want like a truly immersive experience, I can do that for you. There we go. That's good enough. All right, let's give that a stir. And I know that'll level off as we go. So two of our Vatican-sized Eucharist wafers going in. And it says these, and then layer half of the carrots and zucchini on top. Okay. Woo! I dropped some of the carrots and our tahini, and our ricotta tahini. Let's get that over here for now. All right, so like these, I think we're going like this, and like this, and like, let me move this zucchini squash a little closer. Maybe I want to crisscross this a little bit. I'll do like a lattice with the zucchini. You should have like a fundraiser to get whatever cameras you need for the kitchen. I really need to invest in a different laptop. I haven't had this one very long. It's only been like 4 years, maybe a little more than 4 years. But it's definitely behaving a little abnormally. The cooling pad that I picked up and started using stream before last, I think has prevented it from overheating and shutting off on us like it had before. So that's been nice. But yeah, I mean, I think maybe one more camera here wouldn't hurt. I also realized when we were doing Colin's recipe, and that one went a little longer, I realized the battery life on the lav mics is about 5 hours, so The receiver battery stayed good. The receiver battery, I think, had another hour to go in it, but getting another lav mic, just as like a backup in case this one dies, I think I want to invest in too. But it's nice. It was nice to get this and kind of get a feel for just getting familiar with this type of equipment in the first place. And then you know, have a better informed kind of purchasing decision posture if I wanted to invest in more of that. So we're there. I think I could justify doing a little more. That's too much. We need lasagna. Well, we'll add some more. I added no carrots. We'll take some out. That's when we ribboned it. I need some sauce. I need to throw some extra sauce down. We'll take down a couple of wafers here. Layer half of the carrots and zucchini over. I mean, it says half. That's that wasn't even a third of what I cut up. But maybe I use a little more. I do want it. I don't know. I'm not gonna be, for what it's worth, sultry. I'm not gonna be like on the nose with every bit of ingredient here, because I do want it to be a little more vegetable heavy. But drizzle with olive oil, season again. It wants us to drizzle with olive oil and season again. Okay, we can do that. Drizzle. Season with salt and pepper again. Okay. That's a little more salt left in my palm than I wanted to work with there. Okay. Cover the half with spinach, and then the ricotta. Cover half with spinach and half with the ricotta mixture. Okay. Oh, we got this ready to go. I am following the instructions, so it hasn't said anything about putting down another layer of the lasagna yet. So I think we're building like the first layer, and then we're gonna do another layer and repeat what we started. 3.5 cups of baby spinach. Well, maybe I bought too much spinach. I think it's entirely fair to say I bought too much spinach. Yep, I bought way too fucking much spinach. That's all right. I'll figure out something to do with that. All right, there's about 3.5 cups of spinach, so we'll start layering this in. Cover with half of the spinach and half ricotta mixture. Place a few pieces of the mozzarella and 2 to 3 tablespoons of the tomato sauce. Okay. So we're gonna do the spinach. Like that. It looks like a lot of spinach, but it's one of those things, you know, it's gonna wilt down next to nothing. I am really excited to try this though. I also realized this is one of those things that's not a set it and forget it kind of meal. This is one that requires being active throughout. So those of you who heard me earlier saying we were going to do cornbread, we still will. My oven is still clearly on, but I also have not made any effort to been able to start the cornbread. I unfortunately do have an ad to run, it looks like, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way. All right, I'm gonna push that button and get this ad taken care of so we can get that out of our hair. All right. That's the other thing of like having to manage ads while doing this is a little cumbersome. Like I need chat like projected up here and another way to do ads. Maybe I can just do that from my phone. That might be the thing to do. So the mozzarella, I don't have the mozzarella like sliced at all. Mozzarella, what does it say? Third of a pound of mozzarella thinly sliced. And how much is this? This is 8 ounces. So this is half of a pound. So we want about half that, a little more than half that. Okay. Does this peel open at all, or maybe not? These are our mozzarella. We're just gonna put those in slices like it says. Just a matter of getting this thing open. There we go. There's our mozz. Let's get that sliced up for us here. Greasy little rascal. All right, I'm gonna do a little more than half of that, and then we'll cut it into slices. Thinly sliced. Thinly sliced. I'll do my best to thinly slice it. So I didn't watch any like video to prepare. Like sometimes you get a cooking recipe and they'll show you a quick tutorial and just the brass tacks abbreviated version on how to throw this together. And I didn't do any of that, but what I did see was what it looks like plated up and like finished in the skillet. And I could at least tell from that the mozzarella was thrown in there. I don't know, less than artistically. I mean, it looks fine. It's just you're just tossing it in there like little pads. They almost look like unmelted pads of butter. But they are in fact like lily pads of cheese, I guess is more like it. All right, so I've got our slices here, slices of the mozz. So we'll throw that down. And we are almost out of ads, so before I get my hands nice and dirty again, I will hit that button and lose my chat again. It's like I need to get a hungry emote. I forgot I have one. Yeah, I've got space for. I think I have space for 3 more animated emotes and 2 or 3 traditional emotes now because we had enough. Ow, we had enough. We had enough subscriptions that it earned us a couple of extra slots. So I still want more, but I need to be thinking about what kind of emotes. We've got cooking streams relatively consistently here, so I think hunger emote would be enough. I kind of want to get one of those like headbanging type animated emotes too. If y'all have any suggestions on what kind of emotes you think would fit the vibe here, I'm open to it. Repeat the layers. Cover with a few pieces of mozzarella, 2 to 3 tablespoons of reserved sauce. Okay, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3 like that. And then get that reserved sauce. I'm gonna take this blade out of here so I can actually get to work. There we go. All right, we're gonna cover this layer up with some sauce. That looks really pretty. All the colors of Italy. All right, I'm gonna set that over here. And we just repeat that, right? We do 2 more layers. So, like so. So more carrots, more zucchini. I got a better concept of how I want to do this layer this time. Woo. And I guess we're going to do another layer on top of this. So once we cover this, okay, we do have a part where we're going to cover this and it's going to sit for about half an hour. So at that point, I can tidy up this space and we can focus our efforts on the cornbread. All right, so this is going to need a ricotta mix. This is going to be so good. I'm excited for Nina to try this one. All right, I think I'm going to save the rest of that for the last layer because it's really not that much. Unless it's only supposed to be 2 layers. I don't know. I thought it said 6. Yeah, that's 2, 4, total 6. So we're going to do 3 layers of all this. So we're doing spinach next. Oh yeah, it required, before I forget, I did skip a step there. Olive oil and a little dash of salt and pepper again. Un poquito sal. Okay, now we can put those back. All right, we're gonna hit that with a little more sauce, or a little more mozzarella. We get these mozzarella slices in here, and then a little more sauce. Okay, there's 3 more pads of mozz. 3 more pads of mozz. Let me just pour. And save the rest of that for the top layer, which isn't much. Not much remaining here. Let's do 2 more layers of our Vatican Eucharists. Nice moon phase tattoo, you emo or something? Psst. Yeah? Do you like it? Of all the ones that came off, this was the last one, and I mean, part of that was deliberate. This is the one that I got the most positive feedback on, and I also really liked it. All right, the rest of this is gonna be zucchini again. And we don't have much remaining. Let's go like that. Let's go like that. That feels like a nice little assembly there. And I'm not too worried if some carrots go off on the side there, because that's just extras for us to enjoy later. But I can see, you know, it would have been a little easier to manipulate if I'd had like whole carrots and sliced them pretty thinly to better behave with our ribbon zucchini. That's all right. All right, so one more time with the olive oil. And pepe, the pepe. Not cacio e pepe, just pepe. Final round of salt. Our last round of spinach, which I think we're actually going to use all of that. Okay. And then finally our mozz, which I need to cut one more slice of. There we go. This has been pretty fun to make. Oops. All right. Holds. All right, cover the remaining sauce, and then we're about to just throw the lid on it and let it sit for about 25 minutes. So we'll take, this is all the rest of our sauce. Let's see. I took that ad text down, didn't I? Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. Let's spread that around a little tiny bit. Okay. Now remember, this isn't conventional lasagna, it's skillet lasagna, so it's not going to look exactly like your oven-baked layer cake lasagna. It's going to look a little different. And it does look a little different, but it also looks delicious with that amount of color in there. Mind you, it's going to look different when we take the lid off here in about 25 minutes because all that cheese is going to melt, the spinach is going to wilt, it's going to be flatter, but no less edible. All right, so here I am going to check our temperature, cover and simmer until lasagna is cooked and the mozzarella melts. So I'm going to make sure my heat is a little bit lower. Not off, just lower. It's about as low as I can get on that double burner, and let's set our timer for 25 minutes. Or seconds. Seconds is fine. Okay, so timer set for our skillet lasagna. Now I can work on the cornbread. Now we can work on the corned bread. Did Dub pop in to say hello? Good evening, Monsieur Dub. Hope you're doing well and ready to have a good weekend. And minding your parents. Okay, mind both parents, but mind panic the most. When I was looking at this recipe initially, I clearly thought of the spinach like rendering down and like wilting, and I overestimated by like kind of a lot as to the amount of spinach that we really needed because I still have this much out of this bag. So Spinach surprise. Spinach surprise coming up before the weekend ends. Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with a little spinach salad. Best paired with a little bacon, really, but I done used all that in the beans back there. I don't hate having extra spinach around. Now we'll figure something else out to do with it. I think I'd mentioned to you about making quiche, sultry. I've made quiche before. Spinach is great in quiche. You can use a lot of it. Throw together a little egg pie. I haven't made quiche since we've lived here, actually. I used to make quiche like semi-regularly at our last apartment. I need a clip. Here we go. I think y'all are gonna like this. My bag clip. It's a little guy. It's gonna keep our spinach nice and fresh. He's just a little guy. And if, you know, he wants to eat some of that spinach while it's in there, that's fine. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't do ricotta on that last layer. Maybe I can, we'll sneak some in. We'll sneak some in. I knew I was forgetting something. We didn't do enough ricotta on that last layer. We'll just sprinkle some around and, you know, it'll be all right. Just adds a little extra color, you know? We've got 2 amazing layers in there. The third one, the top one, we got creative with. We went avant-garde with that shit. That's what you do when you cook. It's what separates us from the big leagues. I'd say that's not what gets us in the big leagues. It's just what separates us from the big leagues. I'm gonna do a quick little tidy up while I've got some time to free up my cooking space and not slice my hand open on that blender blade. Get some of this in the dishwasher. Okay. Beans looking more ready by the moment. I know I'm gonna need one more of these mixing bowls for the cornbread. Let's do that. Top. I made a nice little mess here. But remember, all messes can be cleaned. I'll take this. Tempted to wash that one by hand. It's got a nice red tinge, little tomato stain in it now. What do y'all think? I just turned this into a dishwashing stream. We'll make it like a co-work stream. I'll just tidy up the kitchen, maybe facilitate a little tidying up and anyone else who needs that. Some messes leave stains, they do. And that's okay too. Colorful reminders. What else do I want to get rid of? I guess, did I miss the garnish with Parmesan? Oh, the Parmesan was just a garnish the whole time. Okay, that's fine. I thought that would be more present in the recipe, but... Give that knife a quick scrub. I don't want anything sticking on that. I like that knife. It's a good knife. It's one of my favorite knives. Anything else out I do not need. I am gonna need another egg for the cornbread. Basil, no. Oregano, no. Oregano, no. Took off my sock to scratch my foot. Lost sock. It's in the dryer. It's already made its way to the dryer. I don't think I need any more of this shit. Not wasting too much here. Oh, come on. Alright, I'm still gonna put away the ricotta, the carrots, and then keep the Parmigiano Reggiano out. Give that a quick wipe down. My cooking space, that's still looking good. That's a cooking space and a prep space. I know, you're welcome for clarifying. Put this up and that, and I think we'll be ready to do the next thing. Next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing. Flour, I need flour, I need a little bit of flour. And I wonder, just double checking my inventory here, I might have a bag of corn, I'm just not sure. It seems like one of those things that's always in the freezer, but might not be. Oh, help. There we go. Keep frozen until ready to use. Some vegetables in the bag, place the microwave oven, microwave this side up. 6-7 minutes. Okay, cool. All right, so I've got some corn. I can mix in the cornbread, which I love. It was very tempting to buy the Dolly Parton brand cornbread. Very, very tempting. Wait, where's my timer? I had a timer going for... My timer that was going for this is not going anymore. When did we... I think it's been about 10 minutes. We still want like 15 minutes on that. Okay. We'll eyeball it. More importantly, we're getting rickrolled. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. I guess to 8. Yeah, I just, we in the ballpark, the vicinity of 10, maybe. Feet for free, like these shorty shorts, baby. Who's sneaking up in here now? Is that a wild Mondo has appeared? Hello, Mondo. Welcome, and I lied. I have one more tattoo that hasn't faded off yet. I just noticed that. Oh yeah, we tried to scrub that one off. We tried. Let's see. I'm not quite getting this fixed the way I want. It's getting looser and looser every time. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Let's try like that. Anybody dizzy yet? Okay. We'll make the camera spin, make the camera spin! Alright, I'm going to flour these. I think I hit them with a little... So our jalapenos. I'm going to actually make some jalapeno cornbread. Thank you for shouting out Mondo. Mondo is one of the last on our list for community members of the community to submit a recipe. And while they didn't submit a recipe quite like our skillet lasagna over yonder, we do have a cocktail and some poetry to read, so food for thought versus, you know, a tangible entree. And perhaps Mondo can be one of many to figure out what ingredients go in a Galdern sip, which will be the streamer's cocktail of choice, as everyone figures out just what the fuck that is. Alright, I'm gonna toss a little flour on our jalapenos. Mondo made a joke earlier, it was too smart for me, but I think I should read it. There's no guarantee in the moment it will click for me, but I mean we can try. See where I'm at. Brief test of cognition. I know that's way more flour than I need, but I know not a lot of it's gonna stick. Okay. We'll make sure to toss that with our cornbread. I think I need an egg. Let's see what we need. 2/3 cup of milk, 1 egg slightly beaten. 2/3 cup of milk, okay. Kind of wish I had my smaller measuring cup again. 2/3 cup of milk. Well, I have oat milk. I have leche de oat. We ain't got no real milk around here. What do you think we are? Republican? Two-thirds. Okay. And another egg. I'm guessing I can just whisk the egg in with the milk. I think. Putting some thought in my drink recipe, by the way. I don't know if you were lurking earlier. We were talking about the title for the Hydrate Redemption here is "Get You Some Galdern Sips." And earlier talking with My City Glory and Heather and everybody, it just kind of became this thing where it's like, yeah, but what if everybody decided that Galdern Sip was its own unique cocktail? And then, musing, what would it be comprised? What would comprise this drink? What would it be comprised of? So it's anybody's discretion at this point. What you sipping on there, Hope? This is a Galdern Sip. I think we decided it needed a fancy glass, something distinctive and ornate like a stein. Putting some thought into my drink, by the way. Can you get Clearly Canadian in your area? I can find it. Yeah, we've got. Last place I saw Clearly Canadian and actually bought it was, and I used to drink that all the time when I was a kid. That was like one of my favorite things when I was a kid. That and like the Snapple Rain. I don't know if you remember Rain. But where did I get that? Oh yeah, World Market. We have a chain of like, I think they primarily sell like overpriced furniture and wine and stuff, but I can find some goodies from around the world periodically at our local World Market. Egg. I know, it was such a violent breaking there. Our corn is now ready. Okay. Heat oven to 400 degrees. Grease with shortening or spray. A non-stick cooking spray, 8-inch oven-proof skillet or square pan. Oh, we want to go ahead and get that in the oven. Okay. I have one of those. I haven't prepped it, but I have one. Honey Hush. Honey Hush. We got old girl here. And for anybody just joining us, we are making the last of our 3 items for tonight. So we started with, I'm prepping some pinto beans, which I'm cooking in some crushed tomatoes, basically like a pico de gallo kind of mix there. So if anybody's not familiar with pico de gallo, it's just a blend of diced tomatoes, green chilies, jalapenos, and a little bit of parsley or cilantro if you have cilantro. And so a pound of pinto beans, 2 32-ounce containers of vegetable broth, the pico de gallo mix, added a fresh jalapeno in there, and I'm using pork belly. I've got some thinly sliced pork belly similar to bacon, so I've got that in there. It's slow cooking behind me, and then we've got a recipe from Sultry, the Combat Queen over here, which is our skillet, and it's getting close to done, our skillet lasagna versus an oven lasagna. And then, we wanted some cornbread to go with all this. So let me grease this pan. By which I mean I'm just gonna get a stick of butter and give it a rim job. And we will warm our pan. And just get that ready. I think I can make something that's a big old sip. I am so down. Which flavor of Clearly Canadian? Because I remember they had like the blackberry. They had 3 or 4 flavors. The bottles weren't as big as I remember. I remember the bottles when I was a kid were a little more distinctive, and I think there was more like per volume in each of them, but they taste the same. All right, pan's been given a proper rim job thoroughly. Set that in there for 8 minutes. Get our mitts out here. Next, let's see, what do I want to set an 8-minute timer on? Timer 8. Combine cornbread mix, milk and egg in a small mixing bowl. Stir until smooth. pour into hot skillet or pan and then bake for 20 minutes. Okay, well, had I started that all whenever we put the lid on our lasagna, then everything would be ready at the same time. But the good news is, once again, we're not exactly preparing this for dinner guests. I made it a goal. I was like saying out loud earlier. I was like, here I am. I'm getting started with the cooking stream again. This time an hour earlier than last time, but it's still later than I wanted to be. So I like basically wrote it on the fridge of like 7:30 p.m. start time for next Friday. I'm gonna try my goddamnedest to get started at a reasonable time and have everything I need the day of. Alright, maybe for this one I will use my little whisk. Versus a fork. I don't know, we'll see how it behaves with the fork first and then kind of take it from there. I set that aside and I need to reference it one more time. Oh, that's right. I remember the last time that I made this, I poured everything into muffin tins and we had cornbread muffins instead. That's right. Cute as a button on a button. All right, just do this until it's smooth. My timer. I've got about 5 minutes left on that timer. And that's looking like a pretty good consistency, actually. Do I have limits on hard liquors? I mean, I don't drink very often, so I wouldn't say limits, but I guess I would limit this to one cocktail. Because it sounds like something I'll get halfway through, and as I'm going through the poetry reading, I'm going to start getting a little heavy-tongued, which is fine. It sounds like I need to send you the same image I'm going to send My City Glory, and just kind of a quick inventory check of what I have would have stocked our bar cart with. Because I've got unopened bottles of Kettle One and rum, several things. And one of the things like we buy is like a contingency in case we end up hosting something and people want to make a drink or something. But largely unused materials for the longest time. Let's mix in, oh yeah, my flour coated jalapenos here. Okay, and then we're gonna mix in some corn. I'm gonna rinse this corn off though because I don't wanna add anything hot to this. So I'm gonna run this corn under a strainer, or a colander rather, and cool it down before I mix it in with the cornbread mix. And by that point, our greased up pan should be ready to take out and fill. There we go. I'm not gonna end up using all this anyway, which is fine. We'll have enough to set aside. All right, cold. Alright, why am I adding corn to cornbread? Because I like the texture. Okay, I'm not gonna use all that. Alright, we eat it like this, it's more of a corn pudding. Anybody want a little bit of corn pudding? Just salt and pepper it. Just before you eat it, you may want to salt and pepper it. Turn this timer off, and our skillet lasagna is looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good, lads. Trying something light. I'm trying to think of something light, and that would be refreshing, particularly on a hot day. It is. Yeah, our season's definitely changing, where it's starting to get significantly warmer. So that's thoughtful. There's not a lot I don't like. Like, if you think of drinks that would be served at like a tiki bar, I like the sweet stuff. Who am I kidding? Like, if you're familiar with like a Saturn type cocktail that would be served at a tiki bar, I like Saturns. Mai Tais are fine. I've never made one. I've never made anything like that. Oh, that butter done browned. Butter done browned. All right. Well, hopefully this rises quite a bit because it's not taking up a lot of real estate in here. I mean, I know it's going to rise. I just don't think it's going to be that thick, but we'll see. Just let it take its level and we'll go from there. There it is. Not the prettiest thing with like the light blue with like a yellow and green just looks not as pretty as not near as pretty as our skillet lasagna, I'll put it that way. Speaking of, I can redirect our camera back over that since it's closer to done. See what I mean? Just got a prettier situation here, and I think that lid's been on there long enough. I need to test the lasagna noodles, but I think they've been cooking with the lid on long enough. Let's see, bake for 20 to 25 minutes. All right, let's do off, cook time, no. Timer, there we go. 22 minutes, let's do 22. Since I added some extras, it may take a little longer, so we'll check on it. We'll check on our cornbread in 22 minutes. Let's see how close to done it is. And I can find containers for my other stuff. We may be close to being able to try this the skillet lasagna, though. This looks really good. I do want to test one corner of this. Oh yeah, that needs more time. That for sure needs more time. Probably a little more heat, for that matter. I don't know that I had. I think maybe the burner shut off. That's not great. Like some of the cheese melted, but yeah, we're not there really at all. Alright, back on you go. That burner on? Yeah? Okay. Okay. Well, let's turn the heat back up. I think the burner shut off somewhere along the way, which is possible, but I didn't have it anywhere near off. Off is like on the opposite side from where I have a low dial, but what are you gonna do? Give them more time to cook, that's what you're gonna do. Maybe something tall, but not too strong. I like a big old sip. I feel like a big old sip could be something you take on a good old swig without feeling heroic or anything. Oh yeah. I'm okay with that. I mean, even when I've gone out, the times I have gone out, like I'm not above starting things off with like a tequila shot or something. But it's rare. It's exceptionally rare. I'll say, given the criteria I've probably set out there, easier said than done, but don't overthink it. I'm pretty easy to please. Until I'm not, unless it sucks. Yeah. Let's see, what else do I want to clean up here? Check on our beans. They're not quite boiling yet. Slow cookers take a while. I have over here a nice little pre-rinse before I throw it in the dishwasher. All right. Hello, consumers. Hello, consumers. Welcome in, Manic. Welcome in, Spacey. Welcome in, everybody who galloped on over with Manic Socratic. We're on I'd say the last stretch of the cooking stream. 30, 45 minutes left. I'm just kind of waiting on this right here to finish up. Waiting on this right here to finish up. It's a skillet lasagna, so not your conventional. Why doesn't it look like a cake of pasta coming out of the oven? And it's not that kind of lasagna. It's a skillet lasagna. What's a skillet lasagna? This is a skillet lasagna. I got to keep the lid on right now, otherwise I'd show you a little more. But recipe shared by friend of the community, and friend to you, Sultry TKQ. Welcome in, Ori. Welcome in, Dragoy. Howdy, partners. If you don't know me, why the fuck don't you know me? I stream on Fridays, cooking streams, Sundays, just chatting, psychoeducational pop culture streams, Mondays, exclusively retro gaming. Come and see me sometime. Should be synonymous at this point, I think so. Manic, thank you for bringing the community on over here. Who did the Wordle hurdle tonight? Who dominated? Who was our resident dom for the evening for Wordle? I gotta know. If anybody's here prior to the raid and not familiar with Manic Socratic, please click follow. My hands are clean, you know, this is a rare event when I'm cooking. My hands are a little more dexterous than usual. We can do the bow tie shout out. There we go. Or maybe not, maybe somebody already did that. Thank you for giving the proper shout outs, the accolades due for our bastion of retro. Our bastion of the old school and artisan of retro. And there's the verbiage. Buttspot is continuing it here. I see it booty claps a little bit. And it just reminds us all of the gentle, careful art that is booty clap. I got you covered. Well, thank you there, partner Zombutts. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And cheers to you, the last of my iron brew. Out to you. What else have we made this evening? I started off with some pinto beans back there. Those are going to cook overnight. But we've got a pound of pinto beans that I've done. I'm in Texas, so I'm doing a little Tex-Mex with that. A pound of pinto beans cooked in two 32-ounce containers of vegetable broth, along with a couple of bay leaves, some pico de gallo, basically some pico de gallo. Oh yeah, and some pork belly. Pork belly sliced kind of like bacon. Cut that up into quarters. That's all in there with some cumin, some cumino, and a couple of jalapenos. One deveined, one not. The aroma's already heavenly, but I've got to get it to a boil, and we're going to let it simmer for 6 to 8 hours or so. Probably about due for a spin with a spoon. And then I've got Sultry's dish of the evening here, our skillet lasagna, and I just put some cornbread in the oven. I made some jalapeno cornbread, meaning I actually took some extra corn and mixed that in. I was about to show you like leftover corn as if you haven't seen corn before. Can you imagine corn? Because you're going to have to now. But throwing some extra corn kernels, like separate corn kernels, in the cornbread mix with some jalapenos. I like the texture. Dragoi, Sultry, Ori, hope you're all doing very well. And who else? Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Oh, Crimson! We got brother Crimson up in here. Hey, Crimson. Hi. That's not a kernel. Oh, it's a different kernel. Yeah. No kerneling issues here. Corn. Delicious edible corn. With our, I'm going to go ahead and take a peek at our oven. Yep, okay, everything's starting to rise. I don't think I quite greased that pan well enough. I gave it a quick rim job with some butter. Probably could have done a little more. Ninja rolls out of the bushes, and Shuma is gonna Shuma with that signature big bad boot. That signature big bad poly-dimensional boot. Getting all up in Zombie's booty meat. And I suppose we wouldn't want you any other way. With your intermittent beneficence. I wonder if that's how a demigod doesn't really receive tribute from worshippers. Demigods find ways to tribute their damn selves. I can respect that. It's a unique approach to self-love at the expense of someone else. Fortunately, Zombie's made of like 70% rubber, so he can take it. I think the bestie is lighting the signal for the vibe of the night, so we're gonna drop a lurk and vibe and chill out. Vibe with me, baby. Just vibe with me. That's all we ever want. That's plenty enough. Vibe to your comfort level. Take up as much space here as you wish to consume. Also, hi to your bestie. Tell them thank you from me for being your friend and for giving you the vibe. Zombie is 70%. Oh. Bonjour, Shadow. Comment allez-vous? Anybody curious of the layers? The layers that we put down in our skillet lasagna here? We use these, I don't know who's going to appreciate this. We use these oversized Eucharist wafers. It's, yeah, these are, you know, if you ever do like communion at the Vatican, this is what they give you. They make it worth the trip. Through him, with him, in him, amen. You get one of these. When in actuality they are the oven-ready lasagna pieces there. So we used 6 of these. We used 6 of these, 2 at a time. We start a layer. We made the sauce. We need a sauce of, it's like 2 pounds of diced tomatoes there that we blended. We've got some fresh basil and fresh parsley, parsley, fresh basil, cooked into that with 4 cloves of garlic, olive oil. We started in the pan earlier and cooked it to about a simmer for 5 minutes or so, and then we put it in a blender and smoothed it out a bit. Then we had the sauce separate, and it kind of layered it in with the layers of the lasagna. So 2 of these went down at a time, along with some ricotta. We mixed some ricotta together. We did a layer of these with some ricotta, some spinach, some sliced mozzarella. So we had a ball of mozzarella, sliced it up pretty thinly. So put like 3 pads of those down with carrots, and then ribboned or thinly as I could slice it, zucchini. So each one of those became a layer before we put another layer of our lasagna pieces on there, pasta pieces. All of that sitting on top here, because the final task was to let it simmer for about 20 minutes. So we're doing that now. I'm also being told that I need to run an ad, which hopefully will be the last of the evening. You came from Mannix Community, you kind of know the deal. Top of every hour, we run a 3-minute ad break to give us an hour of uninterrupted playtime together. Most importantly, gives a break for anybody unsubscribed. So I'm gonna hit that button and run 3 minutes of ads, but I'm gonna stay right here because I don't have as I don't know, as much pizzazz on my laptop kitchen streams as I would upstairs. So we're just gonna stay right here. I say that, I have the same amount of pizzazz on these streams, but polish and other things, it's not the same. But I do need to push that ad break, our woeful obligation to Twitch. Plus, you know, the extra coins do help. So we can keep doing stuff like this. Pizzazzo! You know, you got pizzazz. If anybody's seen the Jack Black movie, what was it, The Polka King? If anybody's seen The Polka King? It's kind of, it feels similar to, and I mean, it's really not at all, but it feels similar in a way, like the way it's shot and how it's kind of based on a true story. It feels similar to the other Jack Black movie, the one that's based in East Texas, Bernie. It feels similar to Bernie. The Polka King came out a little more recently, though. It's a good time. Why I mention that is because there's a character, one of his besties in the movie, is Mr. Pizzazz. He is Mr. Pizzazz. He's doing his whole performance with. He's like a stage performer. He's the Polka King. Polka King's #1 guy is Mr. Pizzazz. It's a pretty good movie. I'm warming up more and more to Jack Black, and I think I owe that largely to Emma Cartoon redeeming. I've got a movie channel redemption here. She redeemed School of Rock, and so we usually do movie nights on Tuesdays in Discord. And we watched School of Rock. I watched School of Rock for the first time on Tuesday, and it was really endearing. It was a really sweet movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't have anything against Jack Black. I just, I don't know. Just didn't seek out his movies as much as I thought. With the exception of Bernie. I've watched Bernie like 5 times. I want to make that clear. I got no beef, no quarrel, no nothing with Jack Black. I just, you know, he wasn't my, I don't know, Guy Pearce or something, you know. just not as familiar with his repertoire outside of the obvious, Tenacious D kind of stuff. I haven't watched many movies in general, but School of Rock, I missed that chat. But School of Rock I have seen, and it's fun. It was a good time. I saw a young Miranda Cosgrove, as opposed to her being old now. Like, none of us are old now, but a younger Miranda Cosgrove was in that. I was a projectionist during the theatrical run of School of Rock, and I too missed that boat. If I ever do movie night, y'all sitting the fuck down and watching the extended edition of Lord of the Rings. Heather, I'm down. I haven't seen any of the Lord of the Rings since they were in theaters. What aired when Return of the King aired? I think I was a freshman in college when Return of the King aired, and I was with my friend Deo, and we watched, short for Amadeo. We went and saw Big Fish. We saw Big Fish and Return of the King in the same day. That was a good day at the movies. Big Fish was fucking amazing. I love that movie. It's still one of my favorites. I'm pretty sure that was all on the same day. Yeah, I know we saw two movies in the same day. I'm pretty sure it was those two. Big Fish and Return of the King. Awesome double feature that day. So, Heather, if you got it in and you want to do some Lord of the Rings time, I'm down. Extended cuts are what we're all about. Yeah, I guess that would have been on the same timeline for you as a projectionist. Or projector? Is it projectionist? Is that the title? But yeah, I guess that would have been on the same timeline when you were doing that. Big Fish is a tear jerk. Oh, yeah. That's not how I go. That's not how I go. I love that. I mean, it just kind of made me want to be that kind of old fart storyteller when the time comes. I guess in a way, I'm kind of already there, but... Projectionist is the official title, with a little bit of booty clap. I mean, you gotta bring a tidbit of booty clap to really bolsters any skill set. It's just one of those things. Tit booty clap was my nickname in college. Yes, it was. Notoriously, you wouldn't shut up about it, was the thing. And I admired that so much. It's how we met. Shrek 2 and Finding Nemo caused PTSD in movie theater employees, I have no doubts. Just the big emotions and just having to endure that over and over again for that stretch. I would normally not say like any movie is capable, any movie in one showing is capable of creating trauma in anybody. But I think through that like repeated exposure doesn't sound so ideal. Shrek 2 had starting times every 30 minutes and cleanup was bonkers. Oh my gosh, yeah. I can't imagine like the worst case scenario you could just, well, I couldn't when you describe it, but like the worst case scenario of just cleaning up any aisle of any movie theater. Because remember the one in my hometown got pretty bad, like the stereotypical sticky floor, like mystery goo, because I'm in the theater before they built the new one in like 2005. The one that we used to have on the square in town was already like 70 years old when I was going to it, and it was pretty haggard on a good day. But after like, you know, big events, I just did not envy most going in to clean that up. I had plenty of my share of work in retail and customer service, but I never quite did that. I was curious about it. When our new theater opened, I was definitely curious about what it was like, you know, on the operations side of the theater. I think I started working IT around that time, though. I worked like a wireless communications gig, and then Best Buy. I was not in the Geek Squad, though. I kind of envied the Geek Squad guys, though. Seemed like they had a pretty low stress gig comparatively. All right, we got 44 seconds on the cornbread. Let's see how we're looking over here. We've got a sort of browned edge. I think I should have used like a shallower pan for this. This is gonna be very thin cornbread, I think. I used too wide of a pan. We've got some brown edges though, so that might be an indication this is done. Yeah, it's gonna be more of like a corn wafer. More of a corn wafer situation here. Let me give that a poke with something. A chopstick should do, right? I don't have a toothpick nearby. That's our timer. That's the song of our people, the timer. Yeah, it's not gonna be very deep, but nothing's coming up. Nothing's coming back up, so I got no goo. Hogu like Wogu, got no goo on that. So let's see. If I want to shovel this off, here's what we're looking at. Tempted to give that one more minute, to be honest, but I'm going to give it a flip and see what it looks like once I find something to flip it on. Oh, I've said, I don't know, at least one more pinnable thing tonight. But if that's the thing that gets us there, then fine. Let's see. I need a clue. That's what I need. I need a clue. My kingdom for a clue. Here we go. Maybe. There we go. You know, it's unconventional. It's thin, but it's not too thin. It ain't too thin. It'll serve its purpose. You know what? We wanted some jalapeno cornbread to go with the beans. It will, in effect, be jalapeno cornbread to go with the beans. It's just, I know not to use that container again, because this doesn't rise that much. And it's a little bit thicker than like a pizza crust. But again, it's gonna be something you crumble up and you mix in with the pinto beans. So it will serve its purpose for that and giving a little extra texture. It'll be all right. I'll take a bite out of that in a moment once that's cooled down. But yeah, I like the way the corn and the jalapenos settled in there. So if that's done, that also means that the timing recommendation for this should be up, meaning that the noodles in here should be done. Our Vatican Eucharist wafers should be fully cooked. Butts by yes. Someone should pin that. Do eat sultry, looks nice. I think, yeah, now you get a full unencumbered look at our lasagna. So again, it's got some ribbon squash, carrots. I use baby carrots, so chopped up some baby carrots. We've got basically a scratch marinara in there, fresh herbs. Everything else you see is spinach, ricotta, mozzarella, and we're gonna top it off with a little Parmigiano Reggiano. So again, the recipe was a skillet lasagna, so it's not gonna be that typical cakey type of lasagna that you would expect coming out of the oven. And I like that. We've defied convention. got that open, and let's check. I'm gonna find one of the noodles over here, and it feels done-ish. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna turn the heat all the way off and scoot that over a little bit. Let's see, we'll go there with it. I'm gonna just partially off the heat. I'm gonna set this bite aside, and then, it's probably fine. Okay. Yeah, that's totally done. I guess I could eat a little bit. I guess I could plate up a little bit. Go and get your bite. Quit your bitching, pull up your britches, sit on down, get your bite. That's what Mama used to say. So we knew supper was ready. All right, the cornbread that I pulled off earlier, that's definitely ready. I didn't devein both of these or de-seed both of them, so I also don't know how spicy they are. You know, jalapenos can kind of range in their heat. Where I'm going with that is if I start hiccuping, that's just how I respond to spicy food sometimes. That's gonna be just fine. And those beans over there. It ain't the sweetest cornbread, but it will do. It's a good heat. That's a good heat with the jalapenos, actually. They're not overwhelming. That's a good mid-range. Trying to play it cool here. That's a good mid-range jalapeno. Now I'm hungry again. That's the goal. I have to make people salivate after hours here. What are we drinking? What are we drinking, honey? There we go. Last of the Iron Brew. Does not pair well with jalapenos. Iron Brew does not pair well with jalapeno flavor. The more you know. Let me see if I can show you these beans. I don't know if I can. Ooh, they're looking good though. I do need to stir them. I'll bring them over to you after we give them a stir. We'll find a proper spoon for those. One with a little less flexibility here. Now mind you, these I'm gonna have to leave cooking overnight. I ran out of space over there by the cameras to show you what I could give you as far as showing the beans cooking. I'll bring them over to you. You might be able to see them over here. No, I didn't position the camera quite like that. That's all right. Here's our beans. Got a whole white onion, 2 jalapenos. That's parsley instead of cilantro. I've got a little bit of brown sugar in there. And I said pico de gallo earlier. It was literally a can of Rotel. I mean, it's super easy. Pound of beans, which you can buy a bag of pinto beans. They're already sold as a pound, so nothing really you have to measure off. One of my very favorite things to make, but I haven't made beans in a while. It's usually one of those things I tend to want when it's colder outside, but it ain't exactly been cold. Just kind of felt like making them. But those need to sit before I shut things down for the evening. I'm going to turn that from high to low heat and then let that sit on low heat for about 6 hours. So we'll check on it in the morning. Let's see, I think I'm gonna cut this cornbread up and put it in a little baggie. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna use a different container for that. I'm not sure I've ever had heartburn. People do like telling me about. I don't know what that feels like. I don't know that I've ever had it either. I mean, I've definitely had an upset stomach from eating spicy food, but heartburn, I don't know. I think that's one of those things, like if you have a habit of eating like very hyper salty, hyper acidic foods kind of frequently in the diet, I think it tends to develop over time. Let's see, I've got a bread knife here. I'll just cut it like this. If anybody's curious, like, hey Hogue, why are you streaming so late and making so much food so late? Well, I have a partner who, like myself, also works in healthcare, but unlike myself, has the woeful obligation to work at a hospital physically and doesn't get to work remote all too often, if ever. And because I care deeply about her and what food she gets to bring with her to the hospital, I tend to like to do a lot of meal prep on Fridays. For both of us. I mean, it's a mutual benefit. I've got everything in this container right here. I think those will be just fine. It'll serve our purpose for, I mean, ideally, you know, it's gonna bake up a little thicker if I put it in a tighter vessel initially. Like probably baked it in this dish exactly would have been recommended. But this will be fine. You just want to break it up and mix it in with the beans when you get a bowl of them still. They'll be all right. They will serve their purpose. So we're through with this guy. I'm just gonna get set over here. Perfect little cornbreadies, yeah. This may be my first stream, but that was not my first time making cornbread. Oh, I left the blender plugged in over here, but did not need to. Woo! 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 I need a smaller container than that. That's all right. Plate. So do a little one. I'll just make a little plate. Plate up. A Italian word of the day, piccolo. I'll do a piccolo plate of our lasagna. What do I want to cut it with? Let's try 8:48 in the morning there, no reason not to be cooking. A future stream, I have every intention of making breakfast for dinner. That's one of my very favorite things, and I think I owe it to all of us to go all out and make a nice breakfast for dinner. Pancakes and then some. And then it might be, you know, time-wise more appropriate for what you'd see coming out that time of day. But also, good morning to you, Joy. Move this plate a little bit closer here. Now I ate earlier, I actually had some sushi earlier, so I'm not gonna overdo what I'm gonna serve myself here, but this looks really good. I don't know that I got the right tool for the job on getting this out. I think kind of a wider spatula is probably fine, so something like this to dig it out, but I want to make sure I get some of these veggies with that ricotta. And a little more of those noodles with the spinach before I consider this a presentable plate. This looks really good. I'm kind of glad I went a little heavy on the veggies that it was recommending. I probably went over the recipe by a third of the carrots and zucchini squash that it recommended. I went over probably by about a third. So 3 cheeses in this: mozzarella, ricotta, and Parmigiano Reggiano. And I'll grab my phone and get a little snapshot of that. Which I've found portrait mode on the iPhone takes pretty decent. It was a pretty decent food porn job. My own hand steadiness notwithstanding. All right. I suppose I owe our dear sister Sultry, I owe her a bite, witnessing a bite, because I probably won't have this again for dinner and, you know, lunch or dinner tomorrow. But here we go. Just tried to do some amount of plate presentation there. So I topped it with some of the fresh herbs that we also cooked in there, so more of the basil and parsley. Got some of our nudes here. There's part of one of the mozzarella balls. Well, and it's got some nice spring to it. So I'm going to try to get a bite with a little bit of everything on there. Get some carrots, some squinch. One of all of the cheeses. We're going to create the perfect bite here. And twist that pasta like this, and you more of a choo-choo or an airplane? Chicka, woo, woo, open up. There you go. I wish it worked like that. Oh my God. I'm okay. Sultry, you done good. Sultry, done good by. She may have gone to bed. I mean, it's late even in her neck of the woods. But Sultry, thank you. You done good. You made us a good plate of food. Would recommend. I think I've got the link for that still ready to share. I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah. There we go. There's more or less what we made. Now, I don't know, I didn't take too many creative liberties with this. I basically followed it to the letter. I prefer my sauce a little thicker, so kind of the consistency of crushed tomatoes, so I didn't puree it. The recipe calls to make it smooth. I didn't blend the sauce until it was smooth. I got it to a nice kind of puree texture, a little bit, just because of my preference. So make it to your preference too. And I would say do that with any recipe. Once you're familiar with it, make it to your preference. You don't always have to follow it to the letter. Okay, baking. Baking, you absolutely have to follow the letter, but that's if you're trying to make grandma's ginger snaps to perfection, you know. But this, you can get a little playful with. I mean, I got a little generous with the veggies because I like the veggies. I got a little lighter on some of the cheese because I, you know, don't process cheese so good. Now, I was saying earlier, I prefer like carrots and most veggies cooked into things. I prefer them to be overcooked, basically, so have like no crunch. These still have a little bit of a crunch, and I know that's a good thing because that means they're not totally devoid of their nutritional value. But it's so good. Very savory dish. You get a little sweetness from the fresh basil, sure, but it's not sharp. I do need some water. Need a little water. But that's gonna do it for us tonight. I think we can find another little precious angel baby out there to giddy up on over towards. While I tidy up here. So we did it. It wasn't 2:30 or 3 a.m. this time. We were wrapping things up presumably ahead of 1 a.m. We did okay. My goal for next cooking stream is to get started like way fucking earlier, so 7:30 or 8 p.m. next time, depending on how, you know, depending on how Friday in healthcare goes, you never know. This was great, yeah, and Manic, thank you for the raid once again. Everybody come to see, say hi. However much of yourself you felt comfortable showing up here in chat and taking up space, I appreciate you. Never have to go any faster or slower than you're comfortable with here. And that's just kind of how we roll. Well, let's see who's out there. Got my laptop like right here in the corner, but doesn't serve me too well when I need to surf the web, bro. Oh, there's lots of friends up this evening. That doesn't make the choice any easier. Bum, 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 bum. I'm just scrolling through everybody who's up. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, well, let's go see. Let me make sure she's not shutting things down. Take a quick peek and see what they're up to. Okay, yeah, let's go see Cass. Let's go raid Cass Androgynous. Let's go tell her hi. So Cass, we did a kind of a, sort of a co-stream with, was it a couple of Saturdays ago? No, last Saturday, it was last Saturday. It was only a week ago. Where we had her on with her colleague from the New Mexico Gender Voice Center, and we talked about their programming, all their service offerings, vocal training that goes into their brand of affirming care, with a large focus on, you know, serving the trans population. And we turned a 1 hour conversation into right at 3 hours. All of that is on my YouTube if you care to dive into that, but I know it's a lot of information to absorb. But yeah, let's go see Cass. Let me get this raid command up for us, and we'll pop off quick as can be. Get my tune of choice up for us. And I don't like the way that Twitch redesigned, I mean I do and I don't, the way Twitch redesigned the UI for when you go to raid. It's not super intuitive. But it gets the job done. Not super intuitive, but you know, it gets the job done. On my end, if you have the ability and the agility and the wherewithal and the volition, if you would let Cass Androgynous, Cass, or Cassie, let her know that brains that play together stay together. And if you want to use any other emotes for that streamer copy pasta, by all means. Use whichever emotes spark joy for you. And I will see y'all again on Sunday. I don't know when I'm going to get started on Sunday. Probably late afternoon, 3 or 4 p.m. I'll let you know. Same familiar spaces. Discord, Threads, the Ether. But, yeah. Dragoid, Death, Manic Socratic, Collins, Panic Sloth, Sultry, Panic Sloth again, Sumo Panic, Zombie Phoenix. Thank you all for keeping me company, for loving on each other throughout. And I will see you again. See you again Sunday and Monday.